Liked by the sound of violence.
Just give some of the fight more of the fighters. I'll shut up.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely like more of like a mafia, like Bronx Tale world back then, where it's like,
Old
good job
Vegas.
out there, kid, and they just throw him a stack of cash in the locker room. But I think it would even be easy, like you have your sponsors, like have the sponsors throw a bonus out. It could be like the Modelo mauling of the night, and you have them vote for it on Modelo's social media, and then the fighters like retweet the poll, like, hey, make sure I win this Modelo bonus or something, and like everybody kind of wins because Modelo can just throw that money around there, instead of having the bigger logo on the cage, put it as a bonus for a fighter and then have like the fans vote on it or something. I think it'd be a pretty cool thing to kind of get sponsors involved, and then you would see it like, big companies would see it as a marketing investment.
Liked by the sound of violence.
Just give some of the more of the fighters. I'll shut up.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely like more of like a mafia, like Bronx Tale world back then, where it's like, good job out there, kid, and they just throw him a stack of cash in the locker room. But I think it would even be easy, like you have your sponsors, like have the sponsors throw a bonus out. It could be like the Modelo mauling of the night, and you have them vote for it on Modelo's social media, and then the fighters like retweet the poll, like, hey, make sure I win this Modelo bonus or something, and like everybody kind of wins because Modelo can just throw that money around there, instead of having the bigger logo on the cage, put it as a bonus for a fighter and then have like the fans vote on it or something. I think it'd be a pretty cool thing to kind of get sponsors involved, and then you would see it like, big companies would see it as a marketing investment.
What up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. We are an MMA podcast. Let you know the MMA podcast you should catch, skip, and can't miss each week. I am Pulver, and I am back yet again with my co-host, Chris Madaffer. How's it going, man?
Not too bad, man. It's going to be a fun weekend of fights for all combat sports.
Hell yeah, man. It's pretty wild. I was actually surprised. I feel like the week started out a little slow with podcasts, but it really picked up. I feel like there wasn't... You don't see, like, the crazy number of shows coming out and doing big content like you do on a big pay-per-view week, but I feel like the quality of content that came out this week was fucking excellent.
Yeah. I didn't go too gung-ho crazy on listening to a bunch of podcasts at once. I listened to a podcast that are pretty long.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of long content this week for sure.
Yeah, so it's a little difficult for me to kind of space it out, or at least try to commit to listening to the entire episode and then going to another one. So I listened to kind of chunks of multiple podcasts, but I enjoyed the content we got this week.
Hell yeah. Well, you know what? Why don't we start us off with, since I am excited to talk about these, our Papa Vodka presents, Doug Stanhope presents, not racist ass coffee company presents, our sponsor for this week, that's totally real and super not fake. Chris, what are we drinking this week that's not shitty racist coffee?
We got
That's a really satisfying can opening sound, by the way.
Yeah, we got a beer from South Park Brewing Company.
Wait, South Park Brewing Company?
Yep.
Wait,
It
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Let me guess where
they're right near Kensington.
I was going to say, let me guess where they're located. In South Park?
Yeah. Yep, in South Park. This is a West Coast IPA. It is called Sports.
That's a fucking great logo.
Yeah, it's called Sports. It's solid.
That's
like
crazy. I've never heard of that brewery.
I got this at Bine and Vine in like North Park / like Normal Heights.
Nice.
Really dope like beer wine shop.
Oh God! Speaking of North Park, I guess we should say off the top, Chris, have you heard the news? We tweeted it out, but rest in peace rather to Bar Pink in North Park, which is no longer with
That's
us.
a bummer.
The pandemic officially got him, which. Yeah. I mean, knowing that bar, that's a hard place to keep open during a pandemic because it was always kind of the grimy go-to North Park bar that you end up at the end of the night.
Well, they always had like live brass music too.
Live brass, or somebody spinning actual physical records and like weird drink deals and like gay. They had cool tiki nights and they had gay nights and all that. Gay nights is probably not the way to refer to that. I don't know how to refer to it.
Because you can't really call it queer night.
Well, no, actually, queer night is probably the way to refer to it. I was going to go with homosexual nights, but that sounds way worse.
You definitely can't say that.
But my point was, I've been to all of those. They were always a blast. Pride night. That's probably more realistically. But yeah, it's hilarious. So, before we get into all that, though, yeah, how you liking that beer?
It's really solid. I like it a lot. Kind of... It's definitely West Coast. He has like a malty bitterness at the end, like the back palate, and kind of like your traditional grape, fruity kind of citrus in the beginning. Right.
That sounds great. Like just like traditional West Coast IPA, basically, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I've been really enjoying those lately. I mean, Society is like one of the go-to examples of that. Burning Beards is a good example of it too. But man, actually, I guess that's a good segue into the beer I'm drinking, which is the what is referred to as frighteningly fresh. I am once again this week drinking the Stone and Joy by. It's really good. This is the same 6-pack I had because these are 9% beers, and since I've been drinking.
Oh, I've been hungover multiple times. Just by like, I wasn't even drunk and I have one, and it just fucks me up.
Well, they don't fuck me up, but they're just, I don't go to like big IPAs that often. Like I've been drinking a lot of lighter. Actually, there's a 30-rack of regular ass Budweiser behind me. I've been drinking like just regular ass beers and then a bunch of rum drinks and shit like that. But yeah, all things considered, though, man, this Stone beer is fucking great. And to be honest, I have not had many Halloween beers this year, or pumpkin beers this year, I should say.
Yeah, I don't think I've any at all yet.
I've had the what's the terrible generic one? Like the really generic one, like the one that like I'm trying to remember where we got it from. Probably like some like Aldi or something like that. Like one of those like I got it in the fridge over there. Maybe I'll drink it in the second segment. But it's just like it basically just tastes like regular weird like generic lager and pumpkin spice. It's not great.
There's like a pumpkin flavored malt bomb.
Yeah, something like that. Although I did pick up from a dispensary down here some moon chocolates, 100 milligram moon chocolate bar that is pumpkin spice that I'm pretty excited about. I'm not gonna lie. But we are not a weed or booze show. We are allegedly still an MMA show. So I guess we should get into that. So Chris, you want to start us off with the MMA podcast you recommend people catch this week?
Yeah, I'll start off first with co-main event number 243.
Yeah, dude, it was such a good one. This was actually, we actually have a clip coming up on our break from this exact episode. You might even be able to guess the clip.
Yeah, Chad says he definitely wants to watch the horror film Hereditary, which I've heard fantastic things about, but
I've heard great things about it, not seen it yet.
Can't muster up the courage to watch it, but I've also kind of heard what happens in that movie, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to see that.
See, I have not heard, and I am I'm hyped for it.
So we talked about that. He says maybe we can get other patrons to pledge so they could watch it with me or something.
Yeah, they're on. Well, no, they're on a big kick right now. Where if they get 100 new patrons in the month of October, which Chris is already a patron, so I guess we should have waited till October for this. But if they get 100 new patrons in October, then yeah, Chad has to watch the movie Hereditary. And Chad notoriously hates scary movies, and literally said he might have to bring a puke bucket. So.
See, I don't know if I wouldn't need a puke bucket when I watch. I just getting mad anxiety. Honestly, that's what it is for me.
Well, that's why you got
kind of like.
That's why you got to go with the indicas for scary movies, and then
That's what I'll just do because I did watch a horror movie the other day, and I did smoke a lot, and I was fine. So I think I just need to be super fucking high.
Yeah, the whole time you end up feeling like that dude in
because what I'll just do is I'll just laugh.
Yeah, you feel like that dude in How High. Yeah, you feel like that dude in How High watching Field of Dreams. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, except for the part where you fall out a window and get hit by a bus while you're on fire, but apart from that part.
They also talked about the KO heard from around the world. They talked about examples of other great knockouts. Yeah,
I like their discussion on it because a couple of podcasts I feel like just straight up said like, oh, it's the best ever. It's hard to even think of examples, and a lot of those shows, their example was Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey, which like, I mean, it's just it's a great KO, but it's just a lead high kick. So.
Sorry, all my roommates are now playing Mario Party.
I was gonna say I can literally hear Mario Party, so we might have to bump down your. We definitely got to bump down your audio because I can hear the fucking star music in the background. That's hilarious. But yeah, that CME episode was really, really good. Let me see. I had a couple notes on it as well. Oh, that's right. This was a special episode because they actually did their Power Hour power rankings on this episode, even though that is normally a Patreon exclusive.
Yep.
Which was a lot of fun. They talked about that Buckley KO. Talked about Tim Johnson streaking over in Bellator with the win over Czech Congo. Oh my god. Fucking. Of course.
Bellator, what's that?
Yo, stop the disrespect on Bellator's name is not.
I just heard Czech Congo. It's like, what year?
I mean, to be fair, I didn't watch that event. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. It was on. I also was doing.
By the way, you know what's a funny trend? I know we really usually record every Friday night, and that's always the night that my roommates do like game night, and I'm like, you fucking rat bastards.
Well,
like,
to be fair, we do record on Fridays, which is like notoriously the worst day to do it.
Well, that's also my only day off. So.
Well, and it just works out with our format too. So, and it's like the old days when we used to do this show on Fridays.
Thursday?
Did we do Thursday? We started with Thursday and then we had to change it to Friday because all the cards were getting cursed every time we did a Thursday show. Oh, and this is the time of the episode when I start turning into a blueberry because the lighting gets darker outside. I'm an asshole who bought a fucking shitty white people lighting light.
Mario Kart. I'm dumb. But
what?
Yeah, sorry. I said they're playing Mario Kart. I realized not Mario Party.
Well, yeah, no, I could tell because it was the fucking the Star Trek music going in the background. Anyway, back to CME episode 423 though. Really, really solid.
243, Mr.
423.
Or is it 240?
423.
Or am I the dyslexic one?
You're the dyslexic one. They're on 4. They did episode 420 not long ago.
That's right.
And Chad Dundas did not eat a goddamn Reese's Cup edible, which I did just find actually near me, and I'm pretty excited to try.
So yeah, they also talk about the discussion of work ethic of fighters and the human spirit. They said, is someone going to take into consideration the terrible human rights record of the UAE when considering going to fight Ellen? It's like, no, they're not going to talk about that. Right. Short answer. There's a discussion around the topic of fighters like Wonderboy, Wyman, and Edwards turning down the fight of Hamzat. Chimaev, I mean, it's a matter of that guy's not ranked. It's like, it's just not... There's just no...
It's hard to make it worthwhile. No, there's not like they're paying anybody enough to fight.
I think I saw Neil Magny's going to fight him, but that's just hearsay.
What happened to him fighting Damian Maia, huh?
I think Maia got Rona.
I mean, yeah, but everybody got Rona. Fucking Jan Kutalaba's had it 3 times, I'm pretty sure. And they still book him every 2 weeks, so...
Yeah, their point is, not everyone just needs to fight someone sooner or later. I mean, yeah, he's just hurting his stock. We know that.
Yeah.
Corey Sandhagen's remarks of whether he would accept a title shot or not, but he thinks Aljamain certainly deserves it more. Either way, Sterling versus Jan is official, so that's that.
Well, it's officially targeted.
Yeah.
Which means it's not official. And also, I did hear, I forget who was this week. I want to say it was maybe one of the guys on Shots Fired. I want to say maybe it was Kairos or somebody. I might be mixing that up, though. But somebody this week mentioned that they feel like the UFC is long playing the TJ Dillashaw comeback, and that's why we've had all this fuckery with Aljo. And they were trying to line TJ. Yeah, like they were trying to line TJ up for that title shot again, off of his super definitive illegal drug test. No, you know what it was? It was SWAT MMA. It was Smoke Weed and Talk MMA, episode 78. Those dudes, one of them talked about it. And honestly, it's not the worst theory, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, it would be fucking so insulting to Aljo. The only reason I could maybe see it happening, Aljo has been very vocal about support of fighter unions, and Aljo has been very vocal about support of Black Lives Matter movement, and Aljo has been very vocal about pay in MMA and especially the UFC, and they hate all of those things.
Dana's not down.
No, Dana's not down with black people or paying you. I mean, not paying black people, paying anyone.
Yeah, so that's that, unfortunately. They said Heather Gracie has COVID and will not be in Brian Ortega's corner.
Yeah. Also, you're for sure going to have to bump your mic down and move a little bit closer because I can hear coins getting picked up in the background about Bellator's fighting surface, and it's really fucking funny. My catch for this week, which, Chris, I think you might have listened to as well, is MMA on the Rocks, episode 212.
Yes.
You caught some of this, right?
I did.
So Dan Tom guested on this episode with Bill Welker, and as you guys heard on the intro, it was just a lot of fun for a lot of reasons. Out the gate, like at one point, Bill comes up with a great pitch for why, like, an easy way to pay fighters that wouldn't even cost the UFC money. In fact, it would actually bring in another sponsor, which is that you, instead of on top of the bonus model, you then also have a, like, Modelo, I think his quote was the Modelo mauling of the night. And you have, like, say, Modelo on their social media have fans vote on who should get that $50,000. And then essentially, Modelo pays $50,000 for a bunch of free advertising. And that money would then theoretically go to the fighter. The only thing that worries me is, of course, the UFC would steal half that money. Or actually, it would probably steal at least 80% of that money if we're being consistent about how that trade works. But it would still put some more money in the fighter's pocket. So even what's 80% of 50K, Chris? It's 10K.
Wait, say that again?
No, 20% of 50K is 10K.
Yeah, that's correct.
So an extra 10K in the fighter's pocket just for a promotional deal, even if the UFC pays it out at the same rate they pay their fighters anyway, that would still be a big deal and help offset the money they're not fucking paying them that they owe them. So I thought it was a good point. But the one other thing that I should say about this episode is they really do if you're interested in trying to focus mostly on the sport and not about all the chaos around it, that was about as like in depth in kind of the business side as they got in this episode. Most of it's just about the performances that have happened recently. So if you guys are looking for like a very kind of fight focused show that is mostly just talking about fights that happen or fights that are coming up, while Dan, Tom, and Bill are just drinking excellent whiskey or scotch, depending on well, I guess technically both whiskey, but you know what I mean. This is a great episode, so that's kind of why I wanted to use it as a catch, because number one, it was great, but also just in general, it's excellent to everyone, including myself, could use episodes and shows that are just about the actual fighting part of the sport and not about everything around it. I know I am the most guilty of always dragging in all the outside shit because I can't not do it. It's just the way I'm built. I have to talk about it or else I feel like I'm being disingenuous. But also there's a space in the medium for shows that are just going to talk about the fight side of it. And there was great discussions, super dope breakdowns of a bunch of grappling exchanges that have happened recently. Like Amir Khani basically trying to fight Edson Barboza with a grappling style, but without using a pressure, without using like a pressure striking game or even just a pressure game in general. A lot of really technical breakdowns, which of course Dan Tom was really good for. Also, shouts out to Bill Welker for going back and listening to the Protect Your Neck episode that Bill put out last week, because he shouted out a couple of things that, or the Protect Your Neck episode that Dan put out last week, because Bill shouted out a couple of things predictions he had going into fights on how they would play out, and Dan Tom, as he often does, completely fucking nailed a couple aspects of a couple fights. And Dan's the first to admit he's not going to get everyone right, but he completely nailed a couple of the breakdowns. And so it was cool. Big shouts out to Bill for doing that extra research, because no one does that shit. I think we are one of the shows that I honestly have been thinking about doing that more. Like, I've been thinking about maybe putting off some preview shows until after the event happens and then kind of looking back at them, just 'cause I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe a week coming up I'll do that, because I think it'd be an interesting kind of experiment. But nonetheless, just a great episode. And yeah, man, Bill has a bunch of cool marketing ideas. Bill also calls for the Venom deal. Like, he's hoping that the Venom deal is going to come with allowing at least a logo or an extra sponsor on your gear with Venom, which would completely change the fighter pay problem in a very significant way. I think even if everyone could have one, even UFC approved logo on their Venom gear, that would be a huge fucking difference, right? In pay.
I think so.
Especially honestly, if it was only one that was allowed, that would be an even bigger. Because then you have people literally fighting with Monster to get like big stars gear, like, because Monster is like the solo sponsor of a lot of big names, or like young up and comers, like the Paige Van Zants get the Monster deals, that kind of thing. It'd be interesting to see people actually competing with Monster for that spot, rather than the UFC just Monster's granting that to people. So yeah, just really interesting discussions about it, and I fucking loved it. Also, shouts out to Bill for talking about training with Rico Rodriguez and some celebrity rehab shout outs, which, oh boy, I did not expect that to come up in that episode, but it was a lot of fun. So yeah, just it's a great episode, and again, not super focused on the more divisive parts of the sport, just mostly focused on the straight competitive aspects of the sport, and I fucking loved it. Also, a ton of interesting information about like front headlock setups and just a ton of grappling info from both Dan and Bill, which I hope they do more of in the future because I fucking loved it. So big shout out to them because this was awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for the amount I was able to listen to as well. I noticed I didn't listen too much about the whiskey stuff. I know Bill said he's trying to convert anyone who drinks Jack and Coke and drinking meat.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, yeah.
Well, they were also like, I think their whole pitch was like, hey, we're doing this show for people who drink that shit, just so we can give you like more options when you go to the bar, so you're not just drinking a Jack and Coke. Because as I feel like most dudes who order Jack and Cokes, they just haven't tried shit other than Jack and Cokes, which is why they order that.
Same for those people that they buy like a Red Bull and get a heart attack.
Oh, and don't get me wrong, I often will order a vodka Red Bull or a Beam and Coke. I won't order a Jack and Coke. I'll order a Beam and Coke. It's the same thing, and it's fucking $3 cheaper. And also $5 with Jim Beam, because me and Luke Thomas have similar liver problems, I'm sure. But yeah, overall though, I just had a great time with this episode, and also in this episode, I gotta try Peerless. Have you ever heard of Peerless whiskey? Peerlee or LESS? Peerless,
like as in not having peers.
Exactly.
I've never heard of that.
Me neither, but based on how Bill described it and Dan's reaction, I'm gonna have to track it down because it seems delicious. So, and I know he's a big fan of all the stuff that Heaven Hill puts out, which Heaven Hill bourbon is probably the best bourbon for the price on the market right
great.
now. It's like $9 a bottle, and it's fucking delicious. Like Heaven Hill bourbon. You actually had some, I think at some point, right?
Sorry?
I'm trying to remember if you ever had Heaven Hill at my pad back before pandemic days.
I think a long time ago, but I don't really.
Yeah,
I just
maybe.
Good, but I haven't really tried to buy it.
Yeah, either way, it's Heaven Hill. I mean, Heaven Hill makes a ton of delicious stuff, but specifically just their like straightforward bourbon, like their like regular ass. I wouldn't call it a well bourbon because it's too good, but it's equivalent of a well bourbon. It's like their like white label. It's delicious. So highly recommend it. Anyway, we will keep on moving on. Chris, do you have an MMA podcast you recommend people skip this week that you listen to?
This is like a half skip.
All right. Well, then while you're pulling it up, I'll do the disclaimer. This is the Eugene S. Robinson style disclaimer. Just because we say to skip your show doesn't mean we hate you or we hate your show. We might even really like your show. It might just be that you had a horrible person who's friends with homophobes on, or it might be due to other reasons. Yeah, just because we say to skip your show doesn't mean it's not good. It just means this episode was not worth the time it took to listen to it. Crybabies, bad weather.
This one was because the first like 45 minutes to an hour they talked about indoor rock climbing.
Oh, shout out to Believe You Me.
Yeah,
I actually liked that. All right, it was a lot of fun, but yeah, not MMA,
fun.
Not MMA related.
But this wasn't really MMA.
No.
So this one's always the exception. I was mentioning, but it was hilarious.
It was a really funny
Michael
episode.
had his wife Rebecca come on the show, and she told her story of why she didn't properly belay Michael down from the top of the wall, and why it led to him falling 15 feet.
You mean why she tried? Yeah, why she tried to kill him?
Yeah. And she said, "Well, Michael, you did shout like a girl as you plummeted down."
She's legit hilarious, by the way. Bisbee's wife is funny as hell.
Then Michael and Lewis reminisce on their youth, trying to impress other girls while climbing cliffs and eating shit in style.
That checks out.
Who hasn't done that, right?
I probably haven't, but that's because my impressing girls phase was not about doing athletic shit. I was like, yo, I'll be over here with long hair, smoking mysteriously and drinking a lot. It'll work out great. But also, I would weigh about 100 pounds less than I do currently, so that helped.
Yeah, it was good, but I just didn't have, honestly. It's my fault I didn't have.
Well, so my question,
I don't want to fast forward.
Here's why I think this was a skip for Chris, is because did you make it at least 30 minutes in when Bisping said that he, quote unquote, literally could not care less about baseball and it's a very boring sport? Is that around the time it became a skip?
No, I didn't even get that far.
That's hilarious, because he did. That is an actual quote from this episode. I was actually going to use it on the break.
Then you also realize he's English, so that checks out.
No, that's what. But that he was like, he's like, soccer. People call soccer boring, but baseball is literally the most boring sport.
No, I'm sorry. Soccer is more boring.
People move around more in soccer.
Yeah, but they don't score. Baseball doesn't.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Trust me. People have this argument all the time. It's like neck and neck about which is more boring. And
yeah, it's neck and neck in this country. In every other country on the planet, it's not.
Soccer is fucking boring. Unless it's like international level, because you get the best players.
All right. Shouts out to white people.
Hey, I'm Italian, but then the Italians are old and they.
I was gonna say, how's Italy doing in soccer lately, bro?
Oh, they're trash. They're old. They're really bad.
Oh,
they were great. They won the World Cup in like 06.
You guys see that now we're starting to get to the root of why Chris hates soccer more than baseball. Sean Sheehan dropping in shots in chat saying worst argument. Sean Sheehan dropping in chat saying worst argument ever from Chris.
Yeah, I'm not making any solid argument.
Well, to be fair, Chris hates soccer because he's a white-blooded American. He's pretty soon he's going to start.
I mean, I just quoted the great American hero Kenny Powers. Soccer is not a real sport.
All right. How long until you're just kicking it with Jorge and Valentina Shevchenko, bro? This is some fucking.
Oh no, see, because I actually have a brain, and that's like I'll agree with certain morons in certain topics, but it comes to actual social issues and ethical moral compasses.
I was making a joke that baseball is
like, hey Jorge, I'll admire your Nia Ben Askren on this video, but you can stay over there.
You might want to be careful with that with that arm swinging. That angle was cool.
Someone's gonna just fucking edit the video and it's just all.
Luckily, it was just all elbow, but yeah, I don't know. Also, shouts out to Sean Sheehan, who I agree with, who's saying baseball is boring and literally can't be explained. It can be explained, Sean Sheehan. You haven't been to a baseball game. It's everyone's getting drunk and eating the whole time and not paying attention. That's why baseball is great.
It would also help if you play backyard baseball when you're.
Yeah, well, no, that's the Sandlot. The movie also helps a lot. Rookie of the Year shouts out. Angels in the Outfield. I fucks with. Also, Tom Hanks and those ladies are pretty cool.
Bull Durham, if you're into like comedies.
Oh, Bull Durham's good. Yeah. No, but I also.
No, Major League. What the fuck am I talking about?
Well, Major League did not age well. Shouts out to #racism in film.
Well. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, dude. Hey, Sean Sheehan, don't talk shit on hurling, dog. That is the drunken sport of kings. How dare you? Hey, okay. He says he likes the drinking part. Immediately, I'm back on board. Oh, man.
I'll say this. If Sean ever makes his way down to San Diego and he goes to Petco Park, he'd be like, wow, baseball's great. You have all the best food and beer. I'm in.
No, but that's again my point. Is the sport is terrible. The stadiums and food are the best part.
I tell you what's better. What's better is you go to like your local baseball field. You play wiffle ball with your homies while getting fucked up, drinking beer. And just doing dumb shit. That's the best part about baseball.
Yeah,
you don't actually play the game.
The best part about baseball is not baseball.
With your friends. Fucked up. No, that's what you do. That's what I did this summer during the pandemic.
100%. The best parts about baseball are not the baseball. I think everybody can agree on that.
It's not playing organized baseball. It's playing my version of baseball.
Right. It's the If you've seen the movie The Sandlot, you're really getting
8 home runs. That's the best part about baseball.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no one has time for a 9-inning game. No. And no one has time when you're a retired boomer in shitty softball league. No, in your bad knees. No one has time.
Yeah, Sean Sheehan with my spirit animal quote of dumb shit is cool. Okay, you got me. I feel like I could apply that to a lot of my life, but I'm with it. All right. Well, speaking of skips this week, I guess I should get into mine. My skip this week is not because of the show or the people who host the show or even the content, because I'm going to be honest, I didn't listen to it. My skip this week is Remember the Show, episode 5, because don't give Ali Abdelaziz, a homophobe supporter, a platform.
Yeah.
That's really all I have to say is, like, everyone in this sport is... That's not true. Too many people in this sport, especially with media outlets, are culpable of giving horrible people platforms. And especially Ali Abdelaziz, who is outwardly proven to be not only a supporter, but a person who does business with a homophobe, and who is actively going against the best interests of his clients. I have spoken to outlets who have told me that they literally have to fight with his, like, he literally has banned their outlets from speaking to fighters who their outlet is made for, just because they have said negative things about Ali in the past.
That's why.
Yeah, because Ali is a coward, and he hates people who actually speak the truth. Which is why we are the first to say, and we will keep saying, fuck Ali Abdelaziz, and fuck people who give him a platform.
Did Robert Wright ever sue him? Because he needs to.
It's embarrassing that this sport continues to let him speak on air. Because if you have any kind of conscience, like, how do you let someone who is... He literally is not only been on record saying, oh, I don't care about, or I don't pay attention to Kadyrov killing and saying, not only killing gay people in this country, but saying there are no gay people in this country, because if there were, they would leave. And then on top of that, these same fucking outlets will have on gay athletes and fucking let them speak on air, when you're also having on someone who is not only supporting that business model, but then sending other athletes over to then show up and be in Instagram posts and sports wash this shit. It's embarrassing for the sport. It's embarrassing for the outlets, and they should all just be better. It's fucking 2020. Be better. Have any kind of decorum. Have any kind of fucking self-respect. Don't support racists. Don't support homophobes. Why the fuck are we still having to talk about this in this sport in 2020? It drives me nuts. Also, my other skip is Severe MMA, because Sean Sheehan suggested I do it in chat, and so now I'm going to do it. No, I'm just kidding. It'll come up later. I just want to take that in on the end, try and lighten the mood. It really bums me out, man. I love Bilal Muhammad. I understand Ali is his agent. I understand Ali not only controls his social media, but he also controls the outlets he goes on, because Ali is too involved in the fighters he represents. But nobody talks about it, or if people do talk about it, they talk about it in shaded, kind of fake tones where they don't actually address things
they sweep it under the rug.
Well, it's not even that. They just don't address it clearly and directly. They, like, kind of half talk about how Ali, like, it's not really cool how he influences people, or it's not really cool how he is allowed to have so much control in the sport, but they don't actively say, like, oh, also, by the way, he refuses to let motherfuckers, like, speak to anyone, and also he runs everyone, he's, like, actively talking shit to Trent Reinsmith on Justin Gaethje's Instagram account, while this week Justin Gaethje is coming out saying fuck Ali Abdelaziz, fuck Khabib, fuck Daniel Cormier, fuck everybody involved, because they're all conspiring against me and not actually, and saying they're looking past me. So my point is, I'm not saying Remember the Show is a bad show. In fact, I love that show. I like Bilal Muhammad. And I understand. I mean, let's be honest. Bilal Muhammad is signed with Ali Abdelaziz because Ali Abdelaziz is Muslim, and Ali Abdelaziz actively pushes that for fighters that he signs, is that he's Muslim. He doesn't. That's unfair for me to say. I was going to say something that's probably unfair. Accusation. His actions are.
I could be honest about religion, but I won't, because I'll get. Stay quiet.
That's the other thing I was gonna do too. I was like, it's irrelevant to the point. The real point is Ali Abdelaziz is bad for the sport, and everyone knows it. Everyone who. if you don't believe Ali Abdelaziz is bad for the sport, you're probably directly working with him, and he's probably making you money.
Paying you? That's what I was gonna say.
He's probably actively making you money, because otherwise, very few people have anything positive to say about him who he isn't actively making money, including the U.S. government. But like, what the fuck does their opinion matter?
All right, that's all I'm gonna say about that piece.
We'll move on. We'll move on, because I don't want to talk anymore about it. But like, I did need to get that out there because I'm so tired. Like, it's so frustrating to see shows I love give that motherfucker an outlet. Like, and also the reason Ali was on is because an Ali client was on, and because it's an Ali client hosted show. Like, Ali forced himself on that show. I'm positive, and it's not good for the sport. And history will not be kind to Ali Abdelaziz being involved here. And we all should start recognizing that and acting appropriately. Anyway, Chris, I am done being a pompous fuck about all my super snowflakey ass opinions. So, do you got a can't miss episode for me this week?
Not really.
Oh, god damn it. Well, did you listen to my can't miss episode then of the Fight Sites podcast, which is not necessarily the lightest hearted transition, but if I would argue the most important discussion that came out in this horde this week.
Yeah, I listened. I mean, it was awesome, so I guess that's a can't miss.
Yeah, so I guess I should say, for the record, this is the Fight Sites Race in MMA panel that Ed Gallo hosted with Shana Dobson, Sydney Outlaw, Bradley Desir. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name, Bradley. I'm sorry if I'm not. And Curtis Blades joined at one point as well. And yeah, what'd you think of it overall? Like, essentially, just as a heads up to people who are not familiar, Ed had this panel put together because he saw, I believe it was USA Wrestling did something kind of similar a little while back. Just having black athletes in the sport speak about their experiences, which I think is a very important thing to be happening, especially in, I mean, wrestling actually, which is crazy to me, has been one of the most accepting about these kinds of discussions, whereas MMA and BJJ, especially grappling, they have had real problems with a lot of these discussions, which is real telling of the kind of, I don't know, atmosphere of them. But I found this really not only interesting, but just kind of refreshing to hear long-form discussions from a bunch of athletes on just kind of topics that I feel like are very relevant to the sport, but that are not, they're kind of just addressed in one question rather than being addressed as a full show where this is the main focus kind of thing, you know?
I agree. I enjoyed it a lot. It was very telling. It was, I don't want to say eye-opening because I did anticipate a lot of what was going to be said.
Unfortunately, right?
Unfortunately, I've heard this before.
Damn.
Shanna Dobson, I know she discussed her parents are Jamaican immigrants, she grew up playing soccer. I remember Bradley Desir said he joined the Marines, and he said he found his calling for violence there. I know some people would hear that.
I don't know that that's how he phrased it. I would say he found, because I feel like that's an unfair way to phrase it. Yeah, he
didn't find his calling.
No, he found that he very much understood the way.
Yeah, he understood violence.
Yeah, violence and just combat in general.
Yeah. The discussion about them being, when was the first time you can recall being treated unfairly because you were black, was sad.
Yeah,
it's sad, but it's also like I understand. I already knew this is going on, so it's like I'm not like downplaying it. It's still very disturbing, like the experiences they went through. It's not fair to them. Like Sydney's like, oh yeah, I was in the car. My white friend was the passenger, and I had another friend in the back. I think he was like Latino, and he was like, oh no, sorry, that was Bradley. Sydney talked about he had a white friend with him in the passenger seat, and all of a sudden he just gets pulled over, and because he's black, obviously that's why he got pulled over.
No, I believe he was a passenger, and his white friend who was fucked up got pulled over, and then he was tapping, and the cop showed up tapping on the window with the gun on his side.
Well, no, see, that was Bradley.
Right.
Yeah. I know they both had similar stories.
Well, and
the point is,
unfortunately,
a
lot of people have
why
these stories.
Both got profiled, which is why the racist cop pulled them over.
Yeah, and I feel like you and me as white dudes, we have especially growing up, like San Diego's a pretty fucking. It's a very white city, but it has a lot of diversity because of the Navy and because of the Marines being here. Yeah. And so I feel like you and I both have very much been in situations where, like, a lot of times we get treated way differently depending on who we're with. And it's pretty crazy. Like, it's a like, I don't know about you, but me coming up in the punk scene, like, I would get treated like a rich white kid when I was with rich white kids. I would get treated like a poor Mexican kid when I was with poor Mexican kids. I would get treated. It was just who I was with is how they would treat me. So, like, oh, well, clearly if you're with these people.
One discussion I thought was interesting, too, is how Bradley Desir was talking about. He said his mom is Puerto Rican, his dad's Haitian. He discussed how racist Latinos can be, and he discusses this because he says when he was his mom, all the other Puerto Ricans would see him as Puerto Rican. They see him as just some black kid and would be racist towards him, which is sad.
You and I both, I mean, not only being around San Diego, but just a lot of Latin cultures. Like, there's a real fucking thing with skin tone in Latin cultures that is uncomfortable. Especially even here in San Diego, like there's a real ass thing. So it's interesting, but one thing I thought was really cool was the way Ed Gallo brought these prompts. Like, they clearly did some like they clearly sat down and thought out these prompts really succinctly. Because I thought the way he phrased the first one really set the tone and really kind of immediately made me rethink the way I was even coming into the discussion, because I believe the way he phrased it was, when did you first realize people treat you differently because you're black? Which is like, outside of MMA, just as a person, which is like, it's an interesting way to phrase it, because as a white dude, you don't think about that there's that moment, right? That a lot of like minorities have where like, there's a moment where you realize like, oh shit, these motherfuckers are treating me super different because of this thing. Whereas, like, as a white dude, I've always seen people do that to people. So then, like, it's not a thing where I have to consciously put it on myself. So there's a lot of really interesting kind of discussions around that kind of idea. And we're not going to do it any kind of justice. That's why I didn't pull a quote either for this episode, because pulling a quote I feel like would be disingenuous to kind of the spirit of the discussion. Because you really deserve to sit down and listen to the whole thing. I mean, you'll think about things differently. Like, even me as a dude who is on board with all these ideas and who has been spouting a lot of these same kind of ideals, you can still learn stuff just from listening to people who have different life experiences, which is kind of the whole idea of this whole show. I've always said, you don't have to be smart. You just have to listen to smart people. And it goes the same way with people with different experiences. Like, you don't have to, you should have different experiences, but it will greatly help you in your life if you listen to people with them, you know? Because you can't have every experience, but you should absolutely listen to people who do have different ones. So, I believe it's the most important discussion that happened this week. I don't want to go into any more depth on, like, the details of it, because I feel like you and me discussing it doesn't really do it the justice it deserves. So please go listen to the Fight Sites Race and MMA panel. I'm very excited to hear that they're probably going to be doing more of those in the future. Ed did mention he wants to do one on the grappling community, which I think is very important, especially considering the fucking way the grappling community is looking nowadays and some of the horror stories that are coming out that have always kind of been there, but like, just they seem to be getting more prevalent and more noticeable. Shouts out to everyone involved with fucking I don't know if I want to put that on Danaher, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Anyway, on that note, let's go to a note of positivity, Chris. I listened to a new show this week, as did you, and our best new podcast of 2019 is back, kind of. You know what I'm talking about? Chris forgot that we gave our award last year for Best New Podcast to Well Actually, hosted by Fernanda Proches.
Oh, yeah.
Who, Fernanda this week announced that she has moved over to Fan Fight, which is the site that Danielle Riendo works for. You guys would know this site because we've covered both I believe the Fan Fight podcast, as well as we've definitely covered Fan Fight podcast, which will actually come up later in this episode for similar. Man, it's an episode this week, but I'm so happy to see Fernanda join up with them. I believe I pitched TJ DeSantis fucking forever ago to try to get Danielle Riendo and Fernanda on a show. I know I've been just kind of standing both of them for a while, trying to get them to do stuff together. And I am so happy to hear that Fernanda has a new podcast called Best Camp of My Life, which she released episode 0 on the Fanbyte media platform. And she's going to be doing articles over there, which she already put out her first one, as well as she's going to have a regular podcast. I believe she describes it as a podcast about MMA, kind of. And Chris, I'm so fucking happy that this is happening, because the thing the MMA podcast industry needs the most is diverse voices, because there's too many white dudes like us talking on podcasts, and it's so boring, dude. It's so fucking boring. Like,
it's the same shit because you get the same angle and you get the same experience.
We cover it.
Well, I think this guy is.
We cover it. Everybody has the same opinion. Everybody has the same background. It's a very small diversity in opinions and takes and ideas, and I am all for the broadening of that. And man, Fernanda's podcast out the gate. This is like a 7-minute intro episode, basically just like a.
I like her self-deprecation too. She just doesn't really give a shit.
Yeah, no, and she like intentionally is like letting it's a great intro. Like, if you guys are worried about that show being too, I don't know what people would be worried about. I guess liberal or feminist or I don't know, snowflakey. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but like I feel like this is a good intro to where you'll see like, you could use a voice like this in your life, even if you don't agree with it. Because Fernanda's funny. She's self-referential. She's self-effacing. She gets that, like, she's not necessarily everybody's cup of tea, for lack of a better phrase. But that's exactly what I love about her. Is she just exactly a super strong, super different voice in the sport, and we need more of those, because too many fucking dudes like me and Chris here, and I'm tired of it. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. It's only 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's like literally an intro episode.
Yeah, put anything back.
Yeah, I call these like
I'm generally interested to see what she puts forward.
Yeah, I always call these like a placeholder episode, because basically when you submit to iTunes, you have to have an episode to upload, and then you essentially do your like 7 to 14 days to wait for them to approve it, depending on what time of year or how much coronavirus has affected that. Then after they approve that, then you can start basically uploading all your episodes. And so I would expect her to probably start up here in the next week or so, and especially after a note that we will have coming up about another show that is actually ending on Fanbyte, or going on hiatus, I should say. But yeah, man, I cannot express how excited I am for Fernanda to be back in the podcast space, because fuck, man, we need more diverse voices, and she's a great one. So let's see. Oh, also next week, I will say, I really wanted to get to MMA Trufan, TRUFAN, audio documentary podcast. Essentially, it's hosted by Rich Donahue and Nate Evans, and I believe it's, from what I understand, it's like an interview focused retrospective show, to where they'll do like documentaries on fighters. Like, they have Kevin Randleman one was one of their first ones. I believe Don Fry was a recent one, where they pull interviews, they get interviews with a bunch of people, they kind of do a full retrospective. And it sounds cool as shit. I have not heard any of it yet, so that's my plan for next week, is check that out. But I wanted to actually listen to a couple full episodes before I could do it, and they're big. They're like an hour or two a piece, so I will have that coming up next week. Chris, did you have any honorable mentions or anything you wanted to throw out there?
Yeah. There's a new podcast called Holding Hands and Throwing Fists I listened to.
Oh shit!
That's
a great name, by the way.
They were based in Abu Dhabi. It was season 3, episode 1.
Wait.
As in
they live in Abu Dhabi?
No, they were there for Fight Island.
Wait, who's it hosted by?
God damn it, I didn't write down their names.
Here, you keep talking. I'll look it up.
Yeah, Holding Hands and Throwing Fists.
It's not Helen Yee and fucking what's his face, is it?
They did a recap from Bellator from October 3rd. They also did a quick recap of the Holly Holm card, Laugh Out Loud.
George and Anna.
Yeah. They talked about Edson Barboza. Corey Sandhagen's impressive victory. One of the hosts had an issue with the Sandhagen stoppage against Marlon Moraes. But then they said if you have issue with that, refer to what Mark Goddard tweeted out. Of course, they talked about Joaquin Buckley. They are fans of James Gallagher.
I don't think they're actually in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm pretty sure they're talking about how the card is coming from Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. They said they were in Abu Dhabi because they're in a hotel.
There's no fucking... I mean, maybe if they flew to Abu Dhabi for the show, I guess that it could theoretically be there. I don't know. Anyway.
Either way, the segment I had fun with this thing that they call Behind the Beef, where they analyzed beef between fighters. They talked about Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie. So
that sounds right.
That one, and then the last thing I want to discuss, there was a podcast listened to by a student journalist from fucking Australia, you can't, called Fight Day Fanboy.
Hello.
Hello. With a student journalist, Alex Kelly.
Fight Day Fanboy?
They talked about...
B-O-Y or B-O-I?
Knockout. They talked about how Conor McGregor wants to fight Dustin Poirier in 2020 as a warm-up for Manny Pacquiao. Just kidding. Seriously, though, they analyzed that fight quite a bit. I don't want to discuss that fight because that's happening until January.
I mean, let's not discuss it until it's actually going to happen, and even then, I don't know that I want to talk about alleged rapists, so...
Then they talked about Ortega and Zombie, and they made a bet against each other. If the fight goes the distance, one of them has to buy him a case of beer. If it doesn't go the distance, then the other buys him a case of beer.
I love it. Dude, betting on podcasts is the quickest way to get me to listen, because it makes your podcast way more fun. Speaking of which, I think you and I still have shots on an old show.
I know, we always forget.
We do. It's a real thing.
And then the only other thing I've talked about is I listened to the 5-minute podcast with Sean Sheehan, of course, where Shawnee Paul
10-minute?
talks about
No, it's 5-minute because it's
Conor
not
and
the...
Poirier, who is
not,
your favorite matchup, clearly. Sorry, that's all I'd say about that.
No, it was good, though, right?
It was good. And then co-main event Patreon, Wednesday live chat. Chaz Dundist and Ben Falcon need to check out the horror series on Netflix, The House of Haunting Hill and Blind Manor. They say the steal line from Luke Thomas. It is promotional malpractice, so there isn't a 165-pound division. Nate Diaz does not deserve to fight for any belt, but he's a needle mover. I mean, everyone knows that. I mean, he's pretty mediocre as far as his record shows. Mm-hmm. But he's not mediocre in what he brings to the fight game. I mean, that's obvious. They talked about great tattoo ideas. Some pretty ridiculous. And then they think Bellator should introduce the 165-pound division first to draw more free agents.
Oh, you mean the 165? 100%.
None of that's going to happen. But,
no,
the most fun part, and you, myself, and of course, G motherfucking 6.
That's right, whose name I don't have to edit out of this. Because
and my brother Kyle. We're going to do this. I'm
100% we're going to do this fucking Nick Cage movie, dog.
Yes, we are. Okay? What we should do is watch it at my house on the big screen TV, set up a mic rig like I've seen at your place, and I'll just get an earbud splitter.
Yeah, we can do that.
On the couch. We have to do that.
Yeah, we'll have to quarantine and whatnot beforehand, but for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll make that happen because that'll be a lot of fun.
Dude, that movie looks so good.
It looks insane.
In a bad way.
Also,
like Nick Cage going like this, You see, because I'm crazy. It's like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm in.
Actually, that's a great segue into one of my honorable mentions.
When does that come out?
It's November. It's a bit. It's next month.
So like in a month. Oh, great!
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say like January.
No. I believe it's supposed to be November, which is gonna be hilarious.
Amazing.
Actually, that's a great segue into where is it in my notes? Shots Fired, episode 10, as well as the Wocast from this week, where they talk about how bad the movie Cage Fighter, starring Gina Gershon and a couple fighters, are. It's so bad, and the director got so mad at their review on their podcast, on the Wocast, that he DM'd Michael and was like talking shit to him. He's like, fuck your shitty outlet. The people didn't even want me to give you the goddamn movie to preview and all this shit, where it's like, first off, Chris, as someone with a degree in journalism, is that at all recommended from an outlet? Does that do you any good?
No, because
it you're just gets you bad
You're
PR.
basically defaming yourself.
Well, and you also are admitting your product is shit, kind of.
That too,
right?
Like,
So,
if you made a product, whether it's a film or you wrote it or you produced it, or you
if it was good, you don't have to defend it.
Yes, technically you have your First Amendment right to speak out against the critics, but the best advice is to shut the fuck up.
Well,
and just move on.
Or like, hey, if you really think it was bad, then ask for a discussion with the journalist, or ask. Don't just DM a journalist and be like, oh, bro, way to not support British MMA films, dog. You're like, what the fuck? So we're definitely doing commentary for that movie, because I heard it's really fucking bad. You
mean good?
Well, based on their description, yes, because here's the description that as I understand it. They're a pro MMA fighter and a pro wrestler end up having to come to heads in an MMA match. That's from the descriptions I've heard. No, this is Cage Fighter. Cage Fighter, and then it has a really bad subtitle, Worlds Collide or something.
Is this Power Man 5000?
Dude, pretty much. Yeah, Cage Fighter Worlds Collide. Oh god. It's we're gonna do a commentary for it, and I have a feeling it's gonna be a lot of fun.
By the way, speaking of Worlds Collide, we gotta play the new season of Fall Guys on PlayStation.
Oh, 100%. I thought you were gonna talk about how we need to watch some more Rob Zombie movies, but
no, because he's a fucking dumb redneck hick.
Is he? God
my
point
damn is, Trevor was texting me because he's in Sacramento. He has an Xbox.
Yeah.
He was like, "Bro," he's like, "I want to play some co-op games with you while I have downtime at school." He's like, "What's that game you're playing with Mike Ramirez?" I was like, "Fall Guys." He's like, "Fuck, that's on PlayStation." God damn it. He's like, "Oh."
That's hilarious.
And then Kyle, of course, sends a picture of an N64 controller. You fucking cunt.
That's such a dick move. That's hilarious. Anyway, let's see. Some honorable mentions I'll crank through real quick. Severe MMA episode 283 is not a skip. It's a catch. It was almost a catch for me. Definitely an honorable mention. It's a really solid episode. Sean Sheehan talks about whether or not Buckley's KO was the best ever, which is what ended up on the broadcast. Which
honestly, it's up there.
It's up there. The problem is like, I think CME brought this up on their live chat, but you have to start having discussions about what it means to have the best ever KO. Because, like, for me, I would say, like, stakes matter 100%, or else it doesn't mean anything.
Like, yeah.
My pick, at least in the recent, we'll say in the last 2 years or whatever, is the Korean Zombie. Rodriguez up elbow. Yeah. Because it's just the stakes are so high. It was 459 of the last round that he was losing. And it's a no-look elbow that nobody lands. Like, and it's a fucking 1 in a billion chance. But
Even the Jorge Masvidal Ben Askren one's good.
Yeah, but then you have to start having like discussions about like, oh, well, are we cutting WEC? Because then we have to talk about Jose Aldo, Club Swanson, and then
dude, I'll even say Valentina Shevchenko just got eyes insane.
Yeah, that's not. I wouldn't even put that. I wouldn't even put that over like fucking.
Rousey home.
Oh yeah, obviously that. But I was gonna say even Amanda Nunes, I'll maybe. But I don't know. To be fair though, like if we're going just technique, it's one of the most insane things we've ever seen.
For me, it's Mighty Mouse doing the flying armbar.
Well, yeah, but if we're talking just straight knockouts, like that's got to be it. But
for me, Edson Barboza, Terry Edom.
Yeah.
Let's see, Rashad Evans, Sean Shirk.
You're thinking Rashad Evans, Chuck Liddell, maybe? You talking about the slip overhand off the uppercut?
No, it's a leg kick to the face, shin bone to the dome.
I don't even remember. Wait, he didn't. It definitely wasn't Sean Shirk.
No, I am. It was
Sean Shirk is a 55.
Sean Salmon.
Okay, that actually might be it.
Sean Salmon.
But if we're saying that, I might say Nate Quarry over Caleb Starnes. I might say that might be it.
Look it up on Tapology.
Okay, no, I'm just making.
Sean Salmon, is that his name?
No, it's
is that a fighter?
It's something. I know who you're talking about. You're gonna have to look it up. Yeah. Anyway, do that while I keep talking. Severe MMA is UK MMA show that they did on Patreon. Shawnee did it with Jake Smith, was really solid as well. We talked about Believe You Me 264, which was really good. The Fight Business podcast, Patrick Auger.
Sean Salmon.
Yeah. I thought that sounded
January
right.
25th, 2007. That's one of the cleanest head kicks to the fucking face I've ever seen.
There you go.
Dude just dies. Sugar shot Evans. Sorry.
Definitely a nasty one. The Fight Business podcast, episode 16, Patrick Auger. It's Patrick, right? I'm not having a panic attack. Okay, thank you.
Wait, Patrick Cote?
No, it's why I'm so fucked up now.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We were just talking about too many different people in a row.
Because I know Patrick Cote. I never put Patrick Cote.
No, I'm pretty sure it's all day Auger on Twitter. I'm pretty sure his name's Patrick. I'm just having a panic attack about it now. Yeah, it's Patrick Auger. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I start second guessing myself all the goddamn time. It does not help this show. He mentions that generally people who are actually going to sue you don't tell you ahead of time. They just sue the shit out of you, which means it's probably a big money play, and they probably don't actually have the contract language to be able to do anything. And so it's a really interesting discussion about that. He also talks about the insane Buckley KO and the what he talks about. The reason why they're cutting older fighters and fighters right now is because the cost to return ratio on an insane prelim KO like Buckley is so different than like you make so much money off of that kind of thing just due to the cost of the cost to return ratio rather than keeping a guy like I don't know a middle of the pack a light heavyweight on the roster, you know. So yeah. It's a really interesting discussion, and I really liked it a lot. Shots Fired, episode 10. We talked about that, where G was out for that segment, but Mike asked everyone about the Cage Fighter movie. Everyone from a stuntman. He has Juice, who is, of course, Aaron from, I believe it's Aaron Jackson from the Fighting With Myself podcast, who is kind of a theater arts dude who's been in that scene for a long time. He talked to him about it and got his opinion. He talked to a stuntman. He talked to there was another dude he talked to as well. But yeah, it's funny to hear all their opinions, which just makes me want to watch them more. Also, they talked about racism and homophobia in MMA and how prevalent it is. And yeah. Oh, and also Sung got an interview with Jai Herbert in that, which is good.
Oh, nice.
Weighing in, episode 87 was solid. Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy are in studio together because they're at Bellator for the event that happened yesterday.
You see how Mike Goldberg said it's over before it's over?
Dude, Mike Goldberg's the worst. But, oh my god, you see Cyborg put on the scariest performance I've seen in a couple years?
I still haven't seen that fight.
Oh my
Because I turned it on at work.
So scary, dude.
They're like, "Oh, Cyborg by submission."
I was literally, yeah. I texted you when she was like mauling the girl in Mount, and it was just a matter of time. But yeah, it was fucking, dude. It was one of the most dominant performances we've seen out of her, and I don't know, probably since since before her UFC run. It's fucking nasty. Anyway, the other thing about weighing in that was really dope was they have an interview with Cyborg, and they talked about how prior to this she trained with King's MMA, which because of the pandemics, because she didn't go down to Africa again like she was doing before, which makes sense because if you look at her performance, it is classic Rafael Cordero clinch violence, and like in the realest way where she's just banging out combos in like the most fucking Rafael Cordero violence kind of fucking fashion. It was, dude, I keep Chris Cyborg at King's MMA, and I will keep watching because that shit is insane. Although, Chris, I don't know if I can be a Chris Cyborg fan anymore. You know why?
I could guess why, but I'll let you tell me.
You would think it's going to be way worse than it is. She said in this interview she hates pizza.
Oh, well, I'm very offended.
Not only that, she says American pizza is the worst pizza.
Let me guess. She puts pineapple on her pizza too to make it taste better.
I don't. She's like, I don't. But to be fair, I think she doesn't like dough or cheese. Which, like, I would get why you don't like pizza if you don't like dough or cheese. She's like, I don't like Rick. And with
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Good for her for realizing that.
Well, dude, honestly, we are not far behind. I don't know if you've noticed.
I'll say this because remember, I think pro wrestling is fucking garbage, but. Never mind. I'm not gonna.
I mean, you're not wrong. I don't even watch pro wrestling. All I do is listen to.
I just think it sucks.
I think podcasts about pro wrestling are way better than pro wrestling.
Oh no, I don't know that.
Dude, I 100% think so. The Laps fan is the best example.
There needs to be another Nature Boy for it to even be any.
TLF is that fucking cast. Yeah, no, but she's just having trouble kind of coming to terms with like supporting pro wrestling while there was literally an indoor wrestling show in Indianapolis last weekend that
they're like pro Trump because of McMahon.
Oh well, not only that, but there was a bunch of fans in attendance, and one of the wrestlers tested positive.
Oh, double fun.
Yep. Yeah, it was indoor, so that's gonna go well. And so yeah, she just talked about how hard wrestling makes it to enjoy it. Also, dude, I mean, she didn't mention dudes like the Valentine Dream who are essentially up on pedophile allegations, and
oh boy,
and like pro wrestling doesn't give a fuck and are still booking them because it's pro wrestling, bro. So it's like, or like Matt Riddle who's up on hella allegations, and like, yeah, you know. Although we can't really talk as MMA because shouts out to everyone talking about the Poirier fight that's coming up. It's the same shit.
All right, well, that was enough for me. I'm done. That's a fucking shitty way to end this part talking about.
Well, I got four more things to shout out, but they're all gonna go real quick and they're way less sad. The Fight Site episode 28 was really good. Inside the Hexagon interview with Joe Riggs was really fun. It's him talking about his hospital fight with Nick Diaz. Yep. The CME live chat for October 15th, 2020 was solid. Talking about Chad getting scared, which we mentioned. Fights Gone By episode 236 was a lot of fun. He had a great breakdown. I believe it was 236. Yeah, it was 236. He had a great breakdown of how Barboza was able to continue landing the straight on Amir Khani because he was shifting into his straight, which would give him like 6 inches extra on the reach. It was really interesting. Heavy Hands 238 was really solid. Buckley KO and Kevin Holland secretly being the best coach. Mookie and Crookie episode 91 was good. Verbal Tap episode 431, the Bachelor Party edition, was solid. MMA Ratings episode 181 I liked a lot. The Bash October 12th, 2020. They talk a lot about the BBC iPlayer deal and really interesting interview with Fernand Lopez about the old days with Ngannou and their falling out.
I heard about that. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was fucked up, and it's a really interesting interview. And then Smoking Weed and Talking MMA, episode 78, which we mentioned, where they're smoking Dream Queen, and yeah. It was,
is that the thing you sent me where it's like these dudes are high as fuck and they're watching like Adesanya fight?
No, yeah, they're on Vegas. They're out in Vegas, and they like basically pick up some weed and some wax or whatever, and they'll hang out.
I tried to get into that, but I was like, dude, these are just a bunch of stoners that are like into fight science.
Yeah, dog. I don't know if you know this about our podcast. That's basically our podcast.
I get it, but it's like I'm just not into wax and dabs. It's the thing, because it's like every time I pass out. Like basically, when I was watching that video, I'm like, oh, there's me in the back when this guy's just like this. I'm like, that's me. That's literally me. I'm just like this.
Yo, to be fair though, wax isn't the same as it used to be. It's not that fucking death shit that makes you die every time you smoke it like it used to be. Nowadays, everybody's
just
doing
like this.
No, you're not dying because now everybody's doing low temp dabs. So really, it's like it doesn't do that fucking killing your chest shit that it used to. Like if you take a correct dab, you shouldn't cough, or you should be like just have like a deep like chest cough or two, like a kind of thing, rather than like a fucking that hot air wax cough that used to get off BHO back in the day, where you're like fucking hacking up a lung for 25 minutes and sweating out every pore.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No, that's not the shit. And people figured that out, that you can do low temp dabs, and it's the shit. So who knows? Maybe I'll do a low temp dab when we come back. But we're gonna take a break real quick. We're gonna play this clip of. Oh, that's right. This is the CME Bellator clip, or the CME clip about Bellator's cocaine mat. So enjoy that, and then we're going to be back to break down this card here briefly, and I think it's going to be a fun one.
So we'll break down, I think what we'll do first is we will briefly break down.
Oh, yeah.
Or I will at least.
No, yeah, we'll both talk it.
Versus Lopez.
Yeah, I'm excited.
For about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, probably about 5 minutes. I'll do real quick, and then we'll break down Ortega versus Korean Zombie.
Yeah, I think both those. Well, that fight and that card should be a lot of fun. So,
because if I'm honest, if you told me what fight do you want to watch tomorrow, I gotta go Loma Lopez over.
Dude, but it's not far behind though, and it's only because I think
because the MMA fight is fire too.
Well, yeah, but spoiler, I think it has. Actually, I feel like they have equal chance to be one. Actually, I feel like the MMA fight has less of a chance to be one-sided.
I'm telling you, that boxing fight is like 50-50.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it in a minute. All right,
if it doesn't go the distance, that's the spoiler.
Oh well, that's what I was gonna say. It's like I feel like one dude has.
Because we all know what happens in boxing goes the distance. Bad things.
Well, we all know how people feel about power punchers in boxing, which is they get real excited up until they face good defensive fighters, and then it gets real
or
not
technical fighters. I'm looking at you, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. What? Okay,
okay. Well, on that note, here is the clip from Co-Main Event Podcast, and we'll be right back. Cheers.
Liked by the sound of violence.
The canvas was so slippery I literally couldn't execute any of my game plans because my whole game derives on me moving my feet and being able to be agile in and out, land shots, and get out. Whew. What do you make of this, Ben? A blistering indictment of the surface, the fighting surface, from MVP Michael Venom Page.
I mean, is Bellator using wildly different consistencies of their mats? Do you think that I would think it would be pretty standard at this point?
You'd think maybe they had to do. Maybe they had to go with something different.
Maybe couldn't get the real Bellator mat through customs into Paris.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's stuffed with cocaine. That's why.
Okay, I knew there was some kind of racket.
The Bellator fighting surface is 85% cocaine. A lot of people don't know that.
Liked by the sound of violence.
Just give some of the fight more of the fighters. I'll shut up.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely like more of like a mafia, like Bronx Tale world back then, where it's like,
old
good job
Vegas.
out there, kid, and they just throw him a stack of cash in the locker room. But I think it would even be easy, like you have your sponsors, like have the sponsors throw a bonus out. It could be like the Modelo mauling of the night, and you have them vote for it on Modelo's social media, and then the fighters like retweet the poll, like, hey, make sure I win this Modelo bonus or something. And like everybody kind of wins because Modelo can just throw that money around there, instead of having the bigger logo on the cage, put it as a bonus for a fighter and then have like the fans vote on it or something.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a pretty cool thing to kind of get sponsors involved, and then you would see it like, big companies would see it as a marketing investment.
Liked by the sound of violence.
The canvas was so slippery, I literally couldn't execute any of my game plans because my whole game derives on me moving my feet and being able to be agile in and out, land shots, and get out. Whew. What do you make of this, Ben? A blistering indictment of the surface, the fighting surface, from MVP Michael Venom Page.
I mean, is Bellator using wildly different consistencies of their mats? Do you think that I would think it would be pretty standard at this point?
You'd think maybe they had to do maybe they had to go with something different.
Maybe couldn't get the real Bellator mat through customs into Paris.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's stuffed with cocaine. That's why.
Okay, I knew there was some kind of racket.
The Bellator fighting surface is 85% cocaine. A lot of people don't know that.
Craft beer and just
They say, are you telling me that I'm not my own man? I'll have you know that in 17 years with this paper, I always say what I like. And I say to them, you say what you like because they like what you say. And you have no sensation of a restraint on your freedom I mean, you don't know you're wearing a leash if you sit by the peg all day.
Liked by the sound of violence.
The canvas was so slippery I literally couldn't execute any of my game plans because my whole game derives on me moving my feet and being able to be agile in and out, land shots, and get out. Whew. What do you make of this, Ben? A blistering indictment of the surface, the fighting surface, from MVP Michael Venom Page.
I mean, is Bellator using wildly different consistencies of their mats? Do you think that I would think it would be pretty standard at this point?
You'd think maybe they had to do. Maybe they had to go with something different.
Maybe couldn't get the real Bellator mat through customs into Paris.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's stuffed with cocaine. That's why.
Okay, I knew there was some kind of racket.
The Bellator fighting surface is 85% cocaine. A lot of people don't know that.
All right, everyone, we're back.
Yeah, we are.
We're back to preview UFC Fight Night Ortega versus Korean Zombie. First and foremost, we have just one quick little fight that we just have to mention.
That's right, and it's the one happening in the background behind Chris between his brother and whoever else is in the room playing Mario Kart.
No, they're playing GoldenEye.
Oh, that's right, it's GoldenEye, which is even more frustrating.
And
you
of
guys
course, one of my roommates and one of his best friends are both 25, and they never play GoldenEye.
I was gonna say, yo, that is, if they're 25, they probably barely know what James Bond is.
Yeah, they barely know what an N64 is, unfortunately.
Yeah, I bet you they're having hella trouble figuring out how to hold that controller.
Why do you think my brother's winning? Anyways, we'll get into this real quick. Tomorrow night, well, actually, the UFC card, I believe, starts at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. And the main event, which is Brian Ortega versus Chan Sung Jung, or Korean Zombie, will be at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. There is a massive title unification bout in the boxing world at the lightweight division. That isn't 155, it's 135.
That's right, and before we even get into it, I highly recommend, if you guys want to get psyched for this fight, go check out the Fight Sites articles.
Yep.
Shit, I should have pulled those up. I know I sent them to you.
They're titled...
so I know one's by, I want to say one's by Phil and one's by...
One's by Philippe Pichole
Phil.
Marchetti. The title is, it's on Teofimo Lopez, the American fighter, who is the, I think, IBF lightweight champion.
And what's the title of the article you got?
It's called New York State of Mind, Teofimo Lopez. And then the other article is on the Ukrainian champion, Vasily Lomachenko, by Taylor Higgins. It's called The Man, the Myth, the Matrix, ranking Lomachenko's best friend.
And honestly, those got me the most hyped out of everything I've listened to about this fight. Because, again, I'm not a big boxing head as much as I should be. I didn't grow up with it at all. I didn't grow up with combat sports. I didn't grow up with even pro wrestling. I just didn't grow up with that shit. My dad is like fucking an accountant who wasn't into any of that shit. So, it's like, I've always liked boxing, but I just never got deep into it. But man, fights like this, and especially articles like that go through their history, like, man, it's so hard not to get hyped for this shit.
The best divisions to pay attention to in boxing are heavyweight for sure, 135, which is lightweight. I don't like to call it lightweight because I'm such an MMA guy, I get confused, so I just call it the 135 division. 135 is insanely stacked, and you got, obviously, this fight between Lomachenko and Lopez. You know, you got, what's his name, Devin Haney. You got the Instagram boxer, Ryan Garcia, who's finally fighting Luke Campbell, who's an Olympic gold medalist and a lightweight fighter. You got Gervonta Tank Davis, who beats women. You know, obviously so many boxers who beat women.
Well, to be fair, just combat sports athletes, to be fair.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend like MMA is devoid of all those shitheads, because it's honestly full of possibly more of them.
Yeah. So, but anyways, boxing is fun right now. If you're looking at the 135 division, and this fight is, it really should be a pay-per-view. The fact that it's, if you pay for cable, it's free on ESPN is bananas. That is it's insane. They didn't make this pay-per-view. I'm actually surprised it's not a pay-per-view, because I would honestly buy this pay-per-view.
I thought it was.
This fight is absolutely insane.
Yeah. Like, as a dude who doesn't listen or focus much on boxing, I'm like the casual boxing fan, where if I hear enough podcasts, like if Jack Slack or the Fight Side Dudes or anybody starts talking enough about a boxer, I'll start listening. But yeah, just like straight week to week boxing shit, I don't normally catch, just because I don't have the fucking time for it.
Most boxers or boxing heads, they've come down to the point like, okay, how do you predict this fight? They go, oh, it's a 50-50 fight, and what they mean is they go, okay, it's either Lopez, who's still only 23 and young, and yeah, he's a champion, but he really hasn't fought. Obviously, someone on Lomachenko's level.
Yeah, but young, but has a lot of.
Can he in those first 5 to 6 rounds really kind of land a significant shot that kind of not necessarily puts away Lomachenko, but kind of keeps him honest, maybe knocks him, gets his attention, right? And Lomachenko is so technically sound with the footwork.
Dude's balance is so wild.
The feint counters, the the false feints, right? The way that he kind of slips and like I don't even know how to describe the way Loma fights because it's really honestly unlike anything you've really seen. And I know people are like, "Oh, you're hyping him up," but it's like if you've seen Vasily Lomachenko fight, you're just like, "How did he do that?"
That dude's combo of feint, footwork, and balance is creepy looking because it looks unreal. Although I should say though, Teofimo Lopez's speed and power looks unreal as well, which is kind of what makes this fight just as like a super novice on the outside of boxing because I don't follow it closely enough at all right now. But it's a very much like you can see how this match would appeal to a lot of casual fans because dude's speed and power is stupid. Like it's just undeniably stupid.
Yeah, and I my pick is Loma. I want to say decision.
I always pick footwork and feints over.
I want to say
power,
decision. If it's not decision, I think he actually gets a TKO late, like say like around 9 or 10. I think he just kind of he goes to the body against Lopez, who kind of is more of like a slip counter over the top with that overhand right kind of guy because it's his right hand, which is his one hitter quitter, kind of just like his one punch knockout power kind of hand. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's good with the left hook too. He's very versatile. He could switch fight if need be. But what's insane about Lopez too is he's only been professionally fighting for his real boxing experience is only like 4 or 5 years. He's just kind of like a prodigy.
Yeah, but his amateur record is basically equivalent to
that's Loma.
No, both of them. They basically have the same amateur experience.
Oh, yeah.
But people don't credit it enough. From the bit I've heard on podcasts and people talking about their backgrounds. Again, this is me repeating things I've heard, not me knowing shit about boxing. Let me be very
that's
clear.
Fine.
Because
the way
that's
you want to choose.
Well, and that's 100% just how I understand boxing because I don't follow boxing closely enough. I don't have the time or patience for that shit. Mostly time, man. You know how much time.
Honestly, dude, it's all matchup based. Like shit like this, where it's like it's a fight you need to watch. You'll consider it.
It just seems like a banger, and like in every sense of the term. Like I would be so surprised if this fight wasn't fun as fuck. Like just style matchup wise, it seems like it would be fun as fuck. So I'm very much excited for it.
Yeah, I will be absolutely watching this fight. I have Loma by decision is my pick. If Lopez is gonna knock him out, it's gonna be in the first 5 rounds. So it is because we haven't really seen him being dragged into deep waters yet. Can he have the gas tank? I think so. He's a young guy. His cardio is good. His condition is good. But he hits so.
Yeah, and he's gone late in the past
for someone who's. And I won't even say that because that's a disservice when you say. He hits so hard for someone who's small because it's like, well, first of all,
that dude's speed and power
they're
is
in your
unreal.
weight class. If you hit hard, you hit hard.
Yeah, but that dude's speed and power is unreal compared to the people he's fighting. Like just watching some of his tape, you're like, Jesus.
And I think the reason why people bring up Lopez's power is they think it translates into welterweight if you want to move up, and I'm sure it could. Like, could he fight a Manny Pacquiao? Yeah, he could. Could he? Well, Mayweather's retired for a long time, but. You know what I'm trying to get at. Like, I can't remember really who's that welterweight now, dude. It's like, well, not Adrian Broner. That guy's back.
I mean, I'm the last
I'm not going to say until you try to reminisce on who the fuck's the welterweight champ. I know it's like Pacquiao is a champion, and there's like Keith Thurman, and there's a couple other guys. I don't even remember anymore, dude. Like, the welterweight division, it's still okay, but it's all about lightweight, and it's all about heavyweight. That's all I got to say. So.
For sure.
Yeah. This fight's going to be a banger. Regardless of who wins, if Loma wins, Teofimo's still young. He hasn't even lost age, 15-0. So, if he loses, there's zero shame in losing to Lomachenko.
Oh, so. And also like arguably knowing boxing, a lot of people would say that would be the best thing for him is
I think so.
having ring time with somebody like that.
He's got a shit ton of confidence. I can't be one to call it overconfidence because.
Dude is super fucking confident,
I'm an
though.
Armchair
Based on the interviews I've heard, dude's wild confident. So it'll be interesting.
Either way, please check that out. The main event is gonna be around. If this starts at what is it? Fuck, it's 7. So, oh no, that's the main card. I don't know.
I don't know. Why don't you go to Grabaka Hitman? Google Grabaka Hitman, and his combat schedule will come up. And I mean, that's the go-to place to know start times of cards and also links to cards.
How do you spell that? Because I got way too many different.
Grabaka Hitman.wordpress.com. That is the motherfucking... I should just start linking that on the bottom. You know what? I'm just going to start linking Grabaka's page on the bottom of our shit. Because I love that dude. And honestly, he's one of the best resources. And I think he literally just gets ad revenue.
Oh, Grabaka. I think you said
Grabaka. Because he's a reference to the Grabaka Hitman. I forget dude's name. That's the actual fighter. What's his name? That's right, Kazuo Mizaki. Kaposa is, of course, the Twitter version of Grabaka Hitman. But yeah, his combat sport schedule is like the go-to every week. Him and the Fight Site guys have a good one too. Let's see, Leandro Higo got a win over Ricky Bandejas in Bellator in the second round, which is pretty impressive. And then the only other thing I want to mention from Bellator 249 is Chris Cyborg. Fucking one of the nastiest wins we've seen from her in a while against Arlene Blenko. That shit was ridiculous, dude. How much of that did you see?
0, unfortunately.
Dude, it's brutal. It doesn't even compare to like. I mean, Chris Cyborg put beatings on women. I almost say girls. I'm sorry, that's disrespectful. On women like Yana Kunitskaya or even like a Leslie Smith or a Tanya Eminger. Not like this shit. This shit was so fucking violent, dude. This was like old school Invicta violence from Cyborg. It was rough, man. Okay. Especially since she ended up on top and was just thrashing her with ground and pound. And the ref was not doing Arlene Blenko any favors either. It was really scary. It was a scary performance. So I have a feeling Chris Cyborg might be around the top of the Bellator game for a while. Because holy shit, that performance. And if she's back with Rafael Cordero at Kings MMA, like, dude, that is... I really feel like that's the best fit for her just based on her style. Like, Chris Cyborg's never going to be the most technical, slick counterboxer or like even the best game planner, but if you just want to mash her against somebody in car crashes until someone loses, she'll do real good in that, and that is 100% the Kings MMA style. I mean, they obviously are very technical and have a lot of skill as well, but Rafael Cordero loves watching things crash together, and that's undeniable.
By the way, the main fight, Lomachenko and Lopez, is going to be at 8 p.m. Pacific.
Nice. Hell yeah, man. Seems like it should be fun as fuck. All right, well, you want to go ahead and jump off on this this wild-ass UFC fight card that we got coming up?
Yeah, so the first fight of the night we have is a men's bantamweight bout between Said Nurmagomedov. I apologize for the Star Wars in the background. My roommates are evidently watching Star Wars.
I was going to say I can literally hear lightsabers, but I thought it was a phone buzzing at first.
Nope. First of all, this guy, I'm not happy with the sweater he's wearing.
Everybody's gonna be way less happy when they hear fucking Yasamasa in the background, and they're like, "Oh no, you're watching that Star Wars."
We'll see. Said Nurmagomedov, I hate the hoodie you're wearing.
It's not. I just realized that's an Akmat hoodie. That's that's a hands up for homophobes hoodie, and I don't fucks with it.
All right. He's going up against Filipino fighter Mark Striegel.
I'm picking Mark Striegel because he's not a fuckboy.
Yeah, I agree. But he's also Filipino. Hopefully he's not Catholic.
No, I don't. Well, that's a decent point because shouts out to the other fuckboy boxer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Honestly, Said Nurmagomedov is gonna barnstorm, dude, right?
And the odds brought to you by Seamus. Here are the odds, of course.
Goddamn right.
You got Nurmagomedov, the piece of shit, as Brock Lesnar would say, at a minus 417 to a plus 319 of Mark Striker.
Yeah. Also, Mark Striker has had one fight since April of 2019, and it was a no contest to a low blow. So, I don't feel good about us picking Mark Striker, but I'm not picking Saeed Nurmagomedov if you're wearing a fucking Akman shirt, dog. No, you can go fuck yourself. So.
Next fight is Russian fighter Gadzimurad Antigulov.
Nailed it. Again.
Other Russian fighter, Maxime Grishin. Gadzimurad Antigulov is 27. Last time, he's on a 3-fight skid. Last fight, he lost to Paul the Bear Jew Craig via triangle choke. I think that was at the last minute.
I mean, if you're going to lose to Paul Craig, that's how you're going to lose, though.
The other Russian guy, Maxime Grishin, lost a decision to Marcin Tybura. This fight sucks. I am going Antigulov for no reason at all.
Yeah, no, I'm going Maxim Grishin. Just off of strength competition. Because Godzi, wins over dudes that are nowhere near UFC quality in a while, or ACB wins in 2016. I can't pick you off a dude who's fighting regularly in PFL and getting wins. Or was up until PFL decided to nuke their entire business model, which is probably a good idea because they're probably going to get caught on some fraud shit. So.
Yeah. And the odds brought to you by Seamus.
Oh, don't laugh at the Seamus part. Laugh at the odds part.
At that. You laugh at the rub shit.
I'm fucking with you.
And Grishin is a minus 345 to a plus 272.
That sounds about right. Do you got a method on that? I mean, I'm taking probably Grishin by decision, but
take a decision for Antigulov.
Yeah,
take it as you will. This next fight is a men's lightweight bout between French fighter Fares Ziam, the Smile Killer, going up against Australian fighter Jamie Malaki.
I literally know the only thing I know about these fighters is I've heard the name Jamie Malarkey a bunch, and I don't know why. Has he fought in the UFC? Probably 4 times, right?
Or no, once. So he is
lost to Brad Riddell.
No, wait, nope, he's fought once.
Yeah, Brad Riddell.
He lost to Brad Riddell, the Kiwi.
No shame.
Dude's tall for lightweight too. He's 6 foot.
I mean, I out of
Frenchman is 6. Oh, he's tall as fuck too. Holy shit. 6'1".
Yeah. As much
Frenchman
as I
lost to South African kickboxer Don Madge.
Yeah, as much as I fuck with the guy that had a Kunlun fight back in the day, I'm gonna go ahead and take Jamie Malarkey via fucking. Probably.
Yeah, this guy's in the Marvel Universe, so
I'm gonna say probably decision via Jamie Malarkey.
I'm gonna go Jamie Malarkey by Shrimp on the Bobby.
Oh, right. That's offensive. I'm pretty sure.
It's probably not. They're probably like.
They're probably not the biggest fan.
They're like, look at this stupid American again.
Yeah, they're like these fucking cunts. The submission radio
what do you know
guys.
About Australia? Are you a shit cunt or a sick cunt? Oh,
That's
no,
right.
wait. All you talk about is Steve Irwin. You're a fucking shit cunt. I'm like, all right, checks out. Yeah, Malarkey is a minus 141 to a plus 117. Take that as you will.
I mean, yeah, it's basically people don't know. We don't know.
Next up, we have Korean fighter. Oh, fuck, I fucked this up. Oh, wait. Hold on.
No, Junyoung Park.
Sorry, I just kind of froze. You got Korean fighter Junyoung Park. This is a men's middleweight bout. Yeah, middleweight bout. Going up against Welsh fighter John Phillips. I think he's Welsh. Yeah, he is. Oh, we've seen this guy. He has fantastic tattoos.
Sure.
Korean fighter Junyoung Park. Last time we saw him was UFC on ESPN Plus 23. He won a decision over Marc-Andre Barrios. John Phillips. What's his name? The Welsh Wrecking Machine. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, look who he lost to. The UFC hype machine himself, Khamzat Chimaev. Via Darce choke at the beginning of round 2.
Yeah, his UFC run has not been great.
Yeah. Does Park have any submissions?
Sure does. It's been a while, but he sure does.
I'm going my boy, Young Park.
Yeah, I'm going Park sub probably round 1. John Phillips can't grapple. It's been widely known, and it's still widely known. John Phillips can't grapple. Or at least he chooses to grapple poorly. I don't know which it is. It's up to him.
I got Park via submission, round 2. Take that as you will.
I got first.
The odds brought to you by Sheamus. We got Young Jim Park at a minus 278 to a plus 225.
Bucks, yeah.
Take that as you will.
Dude, this card so far, these are fun matchups, though. Like, all things considered, even though they're not, like, known people, these are, like, fun matchups that could go either way, right? Like, it's not barnstormings like they've been booking. Although that last one maybe not the best example.
This fight is a women's flyweight bout. We have, and I'm not going to say 2 marketable fighters because these are just 2 naturally pretty fighters. You know what I'm talking about when you say marketable fighters? They try too hard to market themselves. I don't think these fighters do. They're just...
Marketable means generally... well, it depends on... There's variations on marketable. They're hot, is what you're saying, but you're trying not to say that. They're very attractive.
Because they're like, Chris, are you trying to simp? No one is simping.
No,
here.
well, by not saying they're hot, you're kind of simping, to be fair.
Yeah, and then I'm not saying they're hot.
Yeah. No, I'm just doing that terrible internet thing. I'm not going to lie. Polyana Viana is Polyana...
There's a bunch of 12-year-olds. I don't even know what that means. I'm just carrying it, but... It's kind of funny, though, too, sometimes.
Oh, so first off, I'd like to say, Polyana Viana is Polyana Mota, right?
Yes, this is not Polyana Viana.
Yeah, it's Polyana marijuana.
Bottles. This is Polyana bottles.
Right, bottles. Okay, so it's not Polyana weed, it's Polyana booze?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Polyana booze.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, now I can separate.
We got the name.
Yeah, we got Polyana bottles and Polyana weeds.
Yeah,
and this is
Polyana
not weeds.
marijuana, and we got Polyana booze.
Okay, perfect. Julian Robertson's going to suffer. Actually, I don't know that she actually will, to be fair.
She trains under Dean Thomas at American Top Team, last time I checked. I mean...
To be honest, I actually think this probably goes decision, but I think it goes to decision by Julian Robertson consistently getting top control or back and just completely like wrecking house from there. I don't know. She's since Polyana's out of Novo União, and like if you're only getting subbed by Cynthia Calvillo, I don't know necessarily that you'll get subbed by Julian Robertson yet. Yeah, I don't know how, like, it really, I think a lot of it comes down to how well Polyana Botelho has a decent, like, RNC defense game. Because really, I think that's what this comes down to. It's like, if she's decent at defending rear naked chokes, it'll go the distance. If not, or if she can't hang for 3 rounds, I think Julian Robertson 100% gets the RNC. Because she's so good at working her way to the back out of just like not even clean exchanges, but just forced exchanges over time that make people uncomfortable. Which is like very much a Dean Thomas kind of thing. Like Dean Thomas, one thing I want to shout out Dean Thomas for is he is instilled into some of the people he trains, like especially the grappler heavy fighters, especially on the women's side, like Julian Robertson, where he's focused. His game used to be so built on working off his back from guard, like that was, and he lost so many fights like that were really close competitive fights, but he just didn't get the sub, so he lost that fight. And so you can kind of see that in the way he trains fighters now. So you'll see like the Julian Robertsons of the world, where you can very clearly see Dean Thomas works fucking top pressure to back games, and he's like, listen, you want to give me an arm triangle or an RNC, because that's how this is gonna go. Like, I'm gonna get you to the cage in a clinch, I'm gonna work you along the side of it until you give up your back, I'm gonna trip you over, and then we're gonna let you decide what sub you want to give me. And I fucking love that game, and I think Julian Robertson's gonna work it. Polyana, I think, is probably tough enough to survive. Because I don't know that Jillian's game is like dominant enough in Top Control, and I don't know that she's physical enough to kind of like muscle her way into it like Cynthia Calvillo could. But I 100% think that if Laura Mueller is gonna be able to catch a decision off you, Jillian Robertson's gonna catch probably a more definitive one.
Yeah, I agree.
This next fight's dope. So obviously Marcus Gamrot coming over.
Sorry, real quick.
Or Mateus, rather.
Oh, did I say the odds?
Oh, you did not. Brought to us by Seamus. Shout out to my boy.
To you,
boy. Day.
We got Jillian Robertson's a minus 204 to plus 168.
That seems not wide enough. Yeah. It seems like that could be super wider. Like, I might put that in a parlay.
So we got Polish fighter Mateusz Gamrot going up against Georgian fighter Guram Kutaladze. I don't know how you say that.
Sure.
Kutaladze. I don't know.
Kutataladze.
Yeah, Kutaladze.
Kutaladze.
Kutaladze. Yeah, something like that.
Our boy Guram.
The Polish dude, Mateusz Gamrot. He's known as Gamer.
Yeah, that's right. Coming out of KSW with some wild fucking fights. Also, you would know him, Chris, from the Norman Park stuff.
Oh yeah.
Remember the dude who Norman Park punched?
Yeah, I remember that whole thing.
It's that dude.
Oh, okay.
And he's tough as shit. He's very much like not quite a Peter Yan type, but similar to a Peter Yan type. Like if you were to kind of somewhere between Peter Yan and Norman Park, kind of somewhere in there. Tough motherfucker. And I don't know a ton about Guram, other than like I've heard about him in Brave. Win over Eric Da Silva is solid, but I don't know. Yeah, feel for this.
I think I'm going with a Polish dude.
Yeah,
he's fucking undefeated, man. That's
he just looks so impressive and so consistent that I got him by decision for sure.
I got him by decision as well. Let me bring you the odds brought to you by Seamus. We got Mateusz Gamrot, the Polish guy, minus 313 to plus 249.
And what was your method on the one before that for Robertson?
Oh, I got Robertson by sub.
Second? I think I had first.
There
might be a lot of finishes on this card. Yeah,
in this next fight, I didn't know this guy was still around.
Which one?
We got Thomas Almeida.
Oh, the guy who fights bus drivers?
Taxi cab drivers, yeah.
Okay, that one.
He's going up against American fighter Jonathan Martinez. Thomas Almeida. Last time we saw him was in 2018, about 2 years ago, or almost 3 years ago.
That's kind of a recurring theme on this main card, which is weird.
Yeah, it is pretty tough finding taxi cab drivers to fight, though.
True, especially after you get beat up by a lot of people who aren't them.
Yeah, let's see. Cody Garbrandt knocked the fuck out. Then you beat someone named Albert Morales. Then you got decision by Jim Rivera. And then you got knocked in by Rob Font almost 3 years ago. Jonathan Martinez, however, knocked out Frankie Science. Oh, wait. Just this past August, which is he fought.
Yeah, that was that. He put a beating on Frankie Science.
I'm going with my boy, Jonathan Martinez.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not going with the taxi cab driver.
I'm probably taking about TKO in the second.
I am as well. I just remember when Thomas Almeida was like the next hot shit. They were like, "Oh, dude, he's like Hannon Brown." I'm like, no.
I mean, he was, but also he had
when
faced.
He knocked out Brad Pickett.
That's the thing is he had faced dudes who were either towards the end of their career, or he had faced dudes who were nowhere near tested. Which is
the odds brought to you by Seamus. You're gonna hate these odds so much.
I bet.
You got Almeida at a minus 141.
I love those odds. What are you talking about? I should bet that. Yo, everybody, if you guys,
you hate him for integrity, but
if you're gonna make
excuse me, You hate him for integrity. You love him for your wallet.
If you're gonna make a bet on this card, that's a decent bet. I'm not saying do it because I am notoriously bad at betting. I bet on. I had Ronda Rousey in 2 different parlays against Holly Holm because I was like, oh, it's free money, and one of which I think was the TJ Dillashaw over somebody parlay.
The look on your face when unfortunately Holly Holm beat Rousey.
To be fair, I just figured like Ronda Rousey would have an answer for takedowns, but instead she just had no answers for anything. To be fair, yeah, but also to be fair, I used to back in those days, I would just put on any parlay I had because it was free. It was free money, which that worked out real well up until it didn't, but it still worked out real well in the long run. Regardless, the Claudio Silva James Cross fight is so weird, man. I don't really. I'm real back and forth on this. Claudio Silva's that dude that I don't know I never know what to make of him. Like, he had dope sub wins in his last 3 wins. But that Danny Roberts win, he got the fuck beat out of him for like 90% of it. Up until he got the sub. And even then, the sub was like, kind of sketchy a little bit towards the end. I'm not saying it wasn't legit, but I'm saying it was like also not the least sketchy. And James Cross is like the toughest fucking dude. I mean, just notoriously, like he's just tough as shit. I feel like that can't last forever.
James Cross is fighting. I thought I saw something.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like this can't and won't last forever, but yeah, I'm gonna go James Cross. Yeah, decision.
Dude, I like the guy a lot.
I'm not going James Cross because I like him, although I do. I'm going James Cross because I think for Claudio Silva to be able to sub James Cross, he has to hurt him so fucking bad. And I just don't think that's gonna happen. I just don't think he can. I don't think he can either gas or hurt James bad enough to be able to get that sub, which I think he has to do.
By the way, real quick, I just realized you weren't getting. Why are they watching the prequels? They're out of their fucking mind.
Oh, they are?
Dude, I just heard the droid like.
I was literally making fun of your fucking. I was literally making fun of them because who would do that?
Like, bro, fast forward and watch Darth Maul.
Oh, god damn it. Misa hate racism.
Oh, no, once we're done, I'm gonna go out there and yell at them.
Oh, Jesus. Ask him. Yeah. Ask him if they're starting to start a slave trade soon.
Misa entertain.
Yeah. Fucking the most racist shit of all time. Fucking dude, how about how all of Star Wars is racist? It's like the opposite of Star Trek, where everything's inclusive and everything's well written. Racism or Star Wars is racism for children. It's fucking horrific, dude.
All right, yeah, I got James Cross just because I like him.
Yeah,
Terrible.
Anyway. I do too, and also I think Claudio Silva has to get a finish to win, and that is a tall order against James Cross. So.
All right, the odds brought to you by Seamus. We got James Cross at a -143 to a +118 of Claudio Silva. Take it as you will. All right. Next up we have Lithuanian fighter who is not related to Ruslan Muniz, Modestas Bukauskas.
Oh wait, you're telling me Jimmy fucking Crew is not a Lithuanian fighter?
Yeah, no, but Modestas Bukauskas, he might know about Bukaki.
Bukauskas, I believe it is.
Because I'm such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
The Baltic Gladiator.
Yeah.
Bukauskas, Jesus Christ. Is this guy like undefeated? Oh, almost. He's
fucking Chris starting the project for he's writing the script for a Lithuanian film currently.
Yeah, right? Oh god, yeah, Jimmy Crude's fucking picture of these two same ring girls. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Jimmy
fucking Crude.
Exactly. I love
it's
Jimmy Crude.
It's I am at a fucking Cody and this one, right? You see that? You can't, because they're in Australia. You can call them the cunt in Australia.
Hello.
Hello. So funny.
My favorite Australian accent is Connery Bush. I have zero shame.
Right, so he kind of slipped the other hand, kicked him to the body, then dropped him down on his fucking jimmies.
I like how your Australian accent is like a half breath away from an English accent. It's so close to the accent that the dude has in the young ones. Like, right, we're a show by young adults for young adults.
And this right here is a fucking goanna.
That's the best. All right. Anyway,
yeah. So this Lithuanian motherfucker.
He had a win over Michelidis, which
and he won by retirement, which is better than knockout. People forget about that. When you retire someone, they're done.
True. But also,
I do that joke every time.
I mean, they're not continuing, if that's what you're saying.
When you retire someone, they're done.
So dumb. I didn't even catch it the first time because I'm so used to
I
hearing
had
it.
to say it.
It's so fucking stupid, dude. Yeah, no, I gotta take Jimmy fucking Crute. Probably. I mean,
No, I got Jimmy Crute for sure.
yeah, no, I mean,
No disrespect him, but
I'm
that's
probably.
just cocky.
Here's the only thing though, is like neither one of these dudes make it out of early rounds, really. which like makes it.
Sorry.
Although I do think Jimmy Crute is way more likely to win a decision, so I'm gonna take Jimmy Crute via decision or third round finish, probably KO, TKO, something like that.
I got KO round 2.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I it'll be interesting either way.
I'll tell you the odds brought to you by Seamus, and then this next fight I fucking hate. The odds brought to you by Seamus. Jimmy Crute is a minus 323 to a plus 254 over the Bukaki boy. Next fight up, we have a women's flyweight bout. I guess this is really just a women's title eliminator, unfortunately. You have Jessica.
There's 4 people in that division, so.
Jessica Andrade is moving up in weight, even though she used to be a bantamweight. Going up against Caitlin Jagagan.
I mean, Jessica Andrade is going to win, right?
I think so.
Well, okay.
It's a lot smaller.
Jessica Andrade is going to win as long as she doesn't try and stay on the outside the entire fight. Like some...
She's going to inside... Okay, I think she wins because I think she picks up Jagagan and just takes her down a bunch of times.
I think she at least puts her on the cage, yeah.
Yeah, I got Andrade via decision and just grappling, but if Jagagan can just get the takedown defense, she's way taller, way longer. She's decent kickboxing, and I think she could jab Andrade's wrist. What's the reach advantage?
It's probably significant.
Holy fuck. To 66. Okay, that's still significant.
But also, Andrade is used to working with a way smaller reach advantage. Or disadvantage.
Yeah, I'm going to go Andrade via grappling dominance.
Yeah, I think so too.
This division's so weird, dude. Like,
yeah.
I don't...
I'm going Andrade.
No one's beating Shevchenko.
Yeah, well, that's not true. But no one's beating Shevchenko except for the President of the United States' son, who's about to beat that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Okay, sorry. I feel really bad about that joke, and I wish I could undo that.
Well, I would only agree with you on that joke if it was openly evident that Shevchenko loves cocaine. If she loves cocaine, then that's an option. If she doesn't, then she's gonna head kick him to oblivion. Other than that,
I was gonna make like 14 more inappropriate references, but I'm gonna bail on every single one of them and just say,
"Don't stop."
Yeah, I know, I'm stopping me. But which says what they would have been, not the move, probably. Yeah, no, my whole thing is like, I don't have enough faith in Caitlin Jagagan to like Ki leaf lower volume her way out of problem. No, Ki.
I don't fuck with you. Like, Ki-ya?
No, but I mean, I'm saying, like, to Ki her way, like, the fucking ha off of jabs. I don't think you can do that against Andrade over time and not eat damage. Or at least, like, look like you're losing rounds. Because I feel like her leaf blower volume does not work against someone who's going to step in and actually throw. She doesn't have that, like, Holly Holm sit down your shots thing. She very much is pulling her head back and moving away while she's throwing in most exchanges. And so unless Andrade either gasses or starts leading so fucking like over the front of her balance and like leaning so head first into things that she starts getting clipped up, or if she starts losing grappling exchanges, I can see that starting to go bad. But yeah, no, I gotta go. Andrade's via decision just off of bullying the shit out of Chukagian and looking better on the judges' scorecards for cage control and volume. Or I should say landing volume.
I got Andrade by decision. The odds brought to you by Sheamus. You got Andrade at a minus 161 to a plus 134. Chukagian, take that as you will.
Yeah.
The main event of the evening, you get some asshole who's fake nice, and he hasn't fought in like almost.
Oh, you mean some bald boy?
Yeah, because he totally donated his hair for charity instead of being able to make weight.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
You know what? It is cool to see the one of the Venture brothers fighting.
Thank you. I love that. God damn it.
He actually a little bit does look like a Venture brother. I haven't seen anybody make that reference, but he looks a little bit like the bald Venture brother.
Can I give you a spoiler, by the way?
Yeah.
Who the Oh, never mind. Sorry, I was like so confused. I saw like this message pop up on my MacBook, but it doesn't tell me the name. But I'm like, it's like, oh, it's okay.
Let me guess, it's a white person.
It's not.
Oh, okay. I did a MacBook joke and it didn't work.
It's our friend Mike Ramirez.
Hey, okay, Mike Ramirez.
It has to do with Fight Pass.
Okay.
Because he last time he was at my house for the Adesanya card. And then he's like, hey, man, do you have Fight Pass? I'm like, yeah, bro, I never watched it. I'll give you my login. You're welcome. He's like, thanks.
And this is all satirical, and Chris definitely didn't do that. He definitely didn't trade it for goods or services.
No, this is all because we love the fight game.
That's right. There's no goods or services to trade anyway.
Anyways, I think Korean Zombie is absolutely going to kick the shit out of Brian Ortega.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a clinic too. I actually don't think it's going to be close.
I don't either. Unless Ortega grabs a sub in the first or second, I think he's fucked.
This is going to be a clinic, dude. And Zombie deserves a title shot after this. And you know what? Guess what? I really like Zombie's chances against Volkanovski.
I think it'd be one of the dopest fights of all time.
And guess what? I am rooting for Chan Sung Jung to win the belt.
He would force
There's never been a Korean champion, right? No, fuck no.
Not that I remember, no. No. He would force such a wild fight out of Volkanovski just off his pressure and pace and volume.
I'm officially on the Korean Zombie bandwagon.
I have been since at least the Poirier fight, if not like before that.
That's
right. The Poirier fight, the first Leonard Garcia fight, literally the first time I think the first time I saw him was the Poirier fight, but because I think that's the first time most people caught up on Chan Sung Jung when he had that dope. I wish to God I had that shirt. Oh man, to this fucking day, if they put out that Korean Zombie blue shirt, you guys know which one I'm talking about. I'd buy that shit on site. Oh my god! Speaking of shirts, I'm rocking the John Jones casual versus hardcore shirt with fake John Jones and real John Jones. And Chris, you already know which one's which. I love that shit. It's fucking the best. I forget who put that out, but I love this shirt. It's stupid as shit. Yeah, man. War TKZ. I love that dude. He's a good influence on the world. He is. His YouTube channel is dope. And yeah, I honestly think he probably boxes up Ortega and gets a finish. Probably, let's say second or third. I'm gonna go probably third. I don't think Ortega can keep up with the pace and volume that he's gonna put out. Yeah. Especially since Ortega fired his entire coaching staff outside of Henner Gracie, and Henner Gracie
got Rona
and is not in Abu Dhabi. And I think that's why you're starting to see so much angry shit out of Ortega.
A friend of ours in the podcast, Jake, he was like, "Yeah, dude, here's Henner Gracie also fake nice." I'm like,
yes. Most of the Gracies are like. You started doing research on Gracie's and you get real disappointed real quickly. I mean, we'll just say like racism alone.
Oh boy. See, I haven't looked into it, but now I kind of am curious.
Let's just say Renzo Gracie, big Ali Abdelaziz fan.
Oh. Okay.
And all the problems that come with that. Amongst other things. But also all the problems that come with that. So, yeah. Fuck the grappling world a little bit. There are problems they need to address. As do all combat sports, because we're full of trash and we gotta extricate it. But we're still here because we love you, and we hope to be part of the solution, not the problem, right?
Yep, and let me give you the odds brought to you by Seamus real quick.
Please do.
Because we're totally I'm taking Zombie by knockout in the third.
Oh, yeah.
Michael.
Oh, we both got third?
I didn't even hear you. I'm just saying third because I want to.
I got third as well. I think third or fourth, but I'm going third.
Cool, then me and you were on the same one.
Dude, do we have a different pick on this entire card?
Yeah. I took...
Do you have Almeida?
No, fuck no. I took Antigolov and you took Grishin. That's the only one we're different on.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
It's about it.
Nice.
Either way, fuck it.
That's generally how it goes, though, because I believe...
Sometimes it's like that.
No, that's how most of ours are.
There was one card where I think we literally had all the same picks, and we each finished the same. We were like both like 10-2 or something dumb.
I mean, to be fair, we do all right on picks. Like I think last week, to be fair, last week we broke, I think, even. Like let's see.
Yeah, I broke
I can tell you right.
I'm happy.
It
wasn't pretty. But...
Well, to be fair, we only broke 500 because it was an odd numbered card. If I remember right. I went 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you said
I went 7 and 6.
Yeah, if I went 5 and 8, you went 7 and 6. So we're about even, but we do all right, especially considering we did almost 0 tape study for these. So,
and the odds brought to you by Seamus. You got Korean Zombie at -205.
That sounds about right.
161 of Brian.
I honestly think that's a little close. Like, I would expect it to be like 235. Just because of the time off for...
So the widest odds are -227 to +175.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably closer. Just because of Ortega's time off and not having Henner in his corner, that's a big mind fuck. So, it'll be interesting. But, alright, man. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this here. In the meantime, as always, you guys can find us TSOV Pod on Twitter. You can hit us up at soundofviolence.com, or you can send us an email, sovpod@gmail.com. I mean, I'll look at that shit directly. Y'all want to hit us up? Please let us know your MMA podcast recommendations. As we say every week, there's too many fucking podcasts for us to listen to everything. Even if you host a podcast and you think you had a good episode, let us know, dude. We want to know. We'd love to listen to it. And we can't always track down everybody's tweets. It's very hard. I try my best, but it's very hard. So, please let us know if you think you had a good episode. Let us know if you heard a good episode. And honestly, we're here for y'all. This, as we've always said, and the reason why I started this podcast with Chris is Chris and I would just hang out talking about MMA podcasts because that's some shit we loved. And the whole idea behind this is, like, I love MMA podcasts, and I always wanted a show where I could listen to something and be like, oh, this is all the dope MMA podcasts that came out this week. It's similar to my guys over at Pod Gods, Gio and Lax, dude. Like, they had a podcast where they talk about podcasts they love. And so, as a result, like, and especially, I mean, of course, big shouts out to Gio, who is most of the reason why this show exists, and who's a great dude. If you guys know Superfan Giovanni from the Adam Carolla show or any of that stuff. But, yeah, man, this show is for you, and I would like to think by you, because we are honestly looking for your opinion as much as we're trying to give ours. So, much love to everybody out there. And Chris, what else you got?
What else I got?
You got anything to shout out? You got anything anybody sleeping on? Anything to look out for? You doing some streaming? What you got?
That's a good point, actually. So, the only thing streaming I might do is I'm gonna convince my brother to join me on stream. Remember how I was doing Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah.
They just did a new patch today where they have a co-op multiplayer mode where there's raids and multiplayer campaign.
Oh, fuck
which is separate from the story. It's absolutely free. I'm going to try to get my brother to join me. and he's going to be on the stream as well. I'm going to include his audio. I know I'll just tell him to be careful what he says. Me included. You know, I am.
Well, and you guys
usually drunk or high.
Yeah, and you guys would know Kyle from previous commentaries and stuff. Like, what was it? Blood In, Blood Out?
Yep.
Blood and Bone. Blood and Bone.
That's the main thing, too, we want to do. I think that Nick Cage movie comes out.
Oh, yeah, in November. We're doing that.
We're absolutely going to have you, myself, G6. I'm not saying his name. I almost said it. This close to saying it. G6. And my brother. It's going to be the 4 of us. We got to figure out how we're going to set that up.
Oh, we'll
we can do it here at my house if you want. If you want to help me set it up with like a sort of microphone rig and headphone splitter, anything like that, man, however you want to help, I think it'd be really fun.
We'll definitely figure it out, or worst case, since most of you guys are living together, worst case, I can always do it remote, and you 3 can sit down at your side, and we can
either way, I know both of those dudes are down. I already talked to my brother about it. I know G6 is super down.
Yeah. No, well. G6 is the guy.
That movie looks absolutely ridiculously fun and
I heard there's barely any jiu-jitsu in it.
I would venture there's zero jiu-jitsu.
I've heard there's a lot of samurai swords and not a lot of jiu-jitsu.
Someone described it as a knockoff of The Predator meets Power Rangers meets some samurai shit.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful. So I can't wait to be
honest. And Nicolas Cage in Face Off.
Right. Which, I mean, that's just life, really. This is a life source, if we're being honest. So, all right. Well, on that note, we'll go ahead and wrap this here. But like we said, please hit us up. Let us know your MMA podcast recommendations. We will still do an MMA podcast show. Giving all our picks for the stuff you should catch, skip, and can't miss next week. Especially since we have UFC 250, what is it, 3 or 4?
4 is next week. And a caveat, I may or may not be able to watch that. We will see, because my work schedule is fucked.
Yeah, that's the big Gaethje versus Habib card.
Yeah, and I believe the main card starts at like 11.
Yeah, I think
the main event being like at 2 p.m. 1:30 p.m.
Yeah, I think Chris and I did the math, and he's going to get to watch everything except for maybe the co-main and the main, which is brutal. But we'll see how that goes. But
we'll see.
Yeah.
If I don't, that means what sucks is like I'll have to just stay off social media and then basically like just come home
6 hours,
ignore everything my roommates or brother says, and then like say go fuck yourself, and then try to watch it in my room.
100%. Yeah, that'll be an interesting day for sure. But we'll be back to do that. Hopefully, actually, we'll be back to do that. Or maybe we'll probably do a Friday show that week, right? Because you're regularly off Fridays.
Yeah, I'm always off Friday.
Cool. So yeah, we'll probably be back next Friday night is going to be the plan. Barring chaos, which is always possible, man. It was real close. We didn't start tonight because of chaos. So fucking life be wild sometimes, especially in 2020, y'all. So anyway, much love to everybody involved. We love you guys for listening. Big hugs and fucking big drugs coming your way. Please. Everybody smoke some weed. I feel like it's making me a better person in 2020. I've really upped my weed intake, and I feel like it's the best move I've done this year. My weed and edible intake has gone up like 200%, and my booze intake has gone down a bit, and I feel like it's the move. So Doug Stanhope is doing it. I'm doing it. You can do it too, y'all. So Chris, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
I mean, if you want me to be honest.
Yeah, be honest.
Fuck Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah, fuck Joe Rogan and his racist-ass coffee companies he associates with. Black Rifle
Coffee Company.
Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Cunts.
Well, and I want to be clear. Like, so everybody saw in the tweet that we sent out, you can see it's like some 88 bullshit clothing company that tweeted that out. But if you go to Black Rifle Coffee Company's actual page, they're actively promoting their SS coffee. Which, like, sure, bro. Say it's...
Silencer smooth, bro.
Sure. Say it's silencer. Sure, bro. Even though you have a fucking 1488 on your wall in your fucking business.
On the topographical map, yeah, it's a bad look.
they can all eat all the dicks, and hopefully they off themselves with their own rifles. If we're lucky. But on that note, we're going to wrap this here. We love you guys who are not racist and pieces of shit. And if you are racist and pieces of shit, we'll love you when you stop doing that. So, Chris, anything else to add before we're out of here?
No, that's about it.
All right. Well, on that note, be good to each other, you guys, and be people to people.
Be, as Bill and Ted would say, be excellent to each other. That's
exactly, Chris. That's a great sign off, and I'm with it. Be excellent to each other, and go do something decadent. We out. Lay y'all. We love you. Also, R.I.P. Seamus.
Liked by the sound of violence.